team had moved the Delhi High Court asking for interim protection from arrest or any kind of coercive action. A division bench of the Delhi High Court denied any kind of interim protection from arrest to the Chief Minister. Right now, he's being grilled, and we are given to understand by top ED sources, even as you see Aam Aadmi Party supporters and workers indulging in slogan shouting and protests, squatting outside the Chief Minister's residence, even though the Delhi police is saying that Section 144 has been imposed outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. The Enforcement Directorate sources are indicating to CNN News 18 that the Chief Minister is being evasive in his responses and also that he is not cooperating with the Enforcement Directorate. This, of course, is classic signs of any investigating agency, in this instance, the Enforcement Directorate, laying the ground for potentially arresting the Delhi Chief Minister. Remember, this is in connection with the Liquorgate scandal, in which already his former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is under arrest. Sanjay Singh, the Member of Parliament of the Aam Aadmi Party, he's already under arrest. A number of functionaries of the Aam Aadmi Party and other alleged middlemen are also under arrest for the last many years now in this case, and the net was slowly but surely closing in on the Chief Minister. These are live pictures of Aam Aadmi Party workers outside the Chief Minister's residence. Remember, the Chief Minister had skipped summons not once or twice, but as many as 9 times, including the latest one that was served to him this week. The first time he was issued summons in this case was back in November. So for the last 4.5 months now, in fact, the Chief Minister has been evading the summons. The latest one, the 9th one, was today. Like I said, he moved the High Court expecting some form of interim relief, some form of interim protection, if you will, from arrest, but that was denied to him by a division bench of the Delhi High Court. There's also heavy security outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence right now. Like I said, top Aam Aadmi Party leaders and ministers have arrived there. The workers are chanting slogans and, trying to create a mahal, as they say, an environment, as they say, where they are making this out to be. And this is an allegation from the opposition, a political charge from the opposition for a number of months and years now, that the Modi government is targeting opposition leaders and opposition candidates at times in a vicious manner to try and shut down political opposition to the Modi government, and using these alleged corruption cases to shut down the political opposition. Let me go across first to my colleague Ananya, who's joining us from outside the Chief Minister's residence. Just describe the scene around you, Ananya, for our viewers. We can see rapid action force. We can also see at the other end protesters of the Aam Aadmi Party. What is going on both outside his house and inside the Chief Minister's residence?
Well, definitely, Zaka, it's a high-level drama night right here outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. The RAF, the paramilitary forces, and also, in fact, the Delhi police officials, along with the protesters of the Aam Aadmi Party here outside the Chief Minister's residence. Soon after, in fact, the Enforcement Directorate teams entered the Delhi Chief Minister's house. They wanted to question him in the Delhi excise policy case. Remember, very key question.
The Delhi High Court denying any kind of interim protection to him in this particular case. Not only this, he has faced 2 complaints from the Enforcement Directorate for being a public servant and keeping the orders of a law enforcement agency under Section 174. North Indian penal code and had to secure a bail in that particular case as well. So very clearly and categorically, those Aam Aadmi Party defending Mr. Arvind Kejriwal in this particular case. There are the sources in the Aam Aadmi Party legal team have also confirmed this in and very, very clearly and categorically that they are making all attempts to seek the urgent hearing before the Supreme Court of India. The petition has already been filed via e-filing, and in fact, any kind of urgent mentioning is being attempted so that they're contacting the registrars mentioning of the Supreme Court. They're also trying to get an urgent hearing. They're trying to push in their request to the Chief Justice of India for an urgent fixing. But whether or not that is allowed, only time can tell us, or the Chief Justice of India himself. So very clearly and categorically, we'll have to wait and watch for that. But it is definitely high drama night at the Delhi Chief Minister.
All right, it clearly is a lot of drama. In fact, his supporters, they are protesting outside the Chief Minister's residence. That's happening on one end. At the other end, you can see the blue uniformed security personnel. They are the Rapid Action Force. There are also CRPF personnel. Delhi Police, of course, is there. We've been given to understand that the top honchos of the Delhi Police are all there outside the Chief Minister's residence to try and prevent any kind of untoward incident. But it looks like the grounds are being laid for an imminent arrest of the Delhi Chief Minister. Anshul is also joining us live now. Anshul, what is going on inside? Questioning has been going on for the better part of more than 2 hours now. It started a little past 7 o'clock this evening when an ED team reached the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. Tell us and tell our viewers, what is it that the ED is telling you as they're trying to make a case for why Kejriwal could potentially be arrested?
So yes, the case of Enforcement Directorate got even more stronger after the arrest of K. Kavita, and that is the reason why the Enforcement Directorate now wants to question Arvind Kejriwal with the newfound facts in this entire matter. Because remember, in the remand note that we had accessed out here at CNN News 18, that also had clearly narrated that how Arvind Kejriwal was practically the kingpin of this entire alleged liquor policy scam that happened out here in the national capital. And at this point in time, what sources from the investigating team are telling CNN News 18 is that the CM somewhere or the other is trying to be evasive of the questions that are being asked by the Delhi Chief Minister. This could eventually spell more trouble for the Delhi Chief Minister at this point in time as we speak. What action will the Enforcement Directorate will take, that is something that remains to be seen. But outside the residence, in fact in this entire area, VVPI area of civil lines, Section 144 has been imposed. People have been stopped from coming anywhere close to the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. A handful of supporters have reached over here. But if you could see the traffic situation outside, right outside the gates of the Delhi Chief Minister's residence, you can see that there is a heavy traffic stance. Police personnel and central forces that have been deployed over here are in numbers of hundreds who are already stopping people, already stopping vehicles from coming anywhere close to the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. Not only this, but drones are also being used over here to keep an eye out at each and every moment to make sure that the situation remains under control. What we can confirm as well, that senior police officials of the Delhi Police, including DCP of the North area, is inside the residence of Delhi Chief Minister at this point in time as we speak as well. So definitely the manner in which the arrangements are being made, we can expect a big action that could come forth in the next few minutes or probably in the next few hours. What we can also confirm to our viewers is that 4 to 5 mobile phones have been seized by the Enforcement Directorate. Along with that, 2 tablets have also been taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate already, which means that the Enforcement Directorate is collecting evidences from inside the residence of the Delhi Chief Minister. So definitely, it seems like that more trouble is mounting for the Delhi Chief Minister. We are still awaiting from the side an official confirmation from the side of Enforcement Directorate as to what action they could take. But the investigating officer of this entire liquor policy scam is inside the residence of the Delhi Chief Minister. He is questioning him as to what more information can he provide to the Enforcement Directorate regarding the alleged liquor scam that happened out here in the national capital, because the allegations against the Delhi Chief Minister is actually very serious, and especially after the arrest of K. Kavita and how people have now or the accused or the people who have turned witnesses in this entire matter have taken the name of Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal as to how he was in contact with K. Kavita as well, and how he had asked for an 100 crore rupee kickback to be given to
all right, Anshul, just give me a moment. Right now, we don't have confirmation of this, but there are unconfirmed reports that Kejriwal has been arrested. Remember, the ED sources were telling CNN News 18 that he was being non-cooperative, that he was being evasive when to their questions. That, of course, is a classic situation when an accused person is not cooperating with the investigation. That becomes grounds for arresting that individual concerned. So that information we had got about 20 minutes or so back. Now there are unconfirmed reports. Like I said, it is unconfirmed as of right now that Mr. Kejriwal has already been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, you can see now Delhi police teams going in, some of them moving through the barricades. They are pushing back the protesters. They are being taken out through those buses that had been parked outside the Chief Minister's residence. So many of the protesters are being removed from right outside the Chief Minister's residence, but huge drama going on right outside the Chief Minister's residence with the protesters there. And like I said, we are still awaiting confirmation from our reporters, definitive confirmation. Only after that, we're going to put it out on air. Right now, there are unconfirmed reports which seem to be suggesting that the Chief Minister is arrested, but here on CNN News 18, we are not confirming that. But the information that we had up until 10 minutes ago was that the Chief Minister was allegedly being evasive and non-cooperative in the questioning that's been going on from a little past 7 o'clock this evening, and therefore that in instances in the past, and if you look at all classic legal cases in the past, that has been the reason why an accused person has been taken into custody, because he or she was allegedly non-cooperative and the answers that he or she was giving was being evasive. So that's what we have as of now. Let me try and stay with our reporters for now till we get confirmation of the arrest. But right now, like I said, what we do have is that Mr. Kejriwal is being questioned for the better part of the last 2 hours and about 10 minutes or so now. There is huge drama outside his residence. There are teams of the Rapid Action Force, there are teams of the Delhi Police, teams of the CRPF who have all been deployed. You can see some of them taking away, the Delhi Police teams taking away some of the protesters who had gathered outside Kejriwal's residence, who were indulging in sloganeering, making this into a protest. Of course, if you're in the political opposition to Kejriwal, then you would call this some kind of a tamasha, some kind of a drama. But clearly there is a lot of drama outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. There is Section 144 that's been imposed. So this would be in violation of Section 144. But that, you could also argue, is to try and avoid any kind of untoward situation in the event that the Chief Minister is getting arrested. So Ananya, there are unconfirmed reports doing the rounds. There are other media channels that are running this. We are not until we get confirmation, definitive confirmation from one of our reporters on the ground that Mr. Kejriwal has been arrested. So far, there is no definitive confirmation of that. But what we did hear from ED sources, Ananya, and walk our viewers through this, is that Mr. Kejriwal was being evasive, non-cooperative in the investigation. Is this classic legal? All right, let's listen to Atishi, who's just speaking outside the Chief Minister's house.
तो अरेस्ट कर लिया है। ये बिल्कुल साफ था, जितनी भारी संख्या में पुलिस आई थी, जितनी भारी संख्या में पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस यहाँ पे स्टेशन थे, कि आज ईडी अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को अरेस्ट करने के लिए आ रही है। अरविंद केजरीवाल का अरेस्ट भारतीय जनता पार्टी की और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की एक राजनीतिक साजिश है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को अगर किसी एक नेता,
Chief Minister has been arrested. This is a huge developing story. This is a big breaking story, ladies and gentlemen. A sitting Chief Minister, the sitting Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, has been arrested in the Liquorgate probe. Remember, he had approached the Delhi High Court asking for protection earlier today. That was denied by a division bench, and basis that the ED has been questioning him since a little past 7 o'clock this evening. After 2 hours plus of questioning, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has been arrested. Now, he will be taken away from his residence. He will be taken to the ED office. Of course, they can keep him there for about 24 hours, after which he will have to be produced before a magistrate, where the ED will ask for further custody. But for now, Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, has been arrested in the Liquorgate scandal. Many other political netas have also been arrested in this case. The latest, of course, was K. Kavita, the BRS chief. Before that, Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh. And now today, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Arunima has more details. Arunima.
It was all building up to this. When the Enforcement Directorate probe team said that their Chief Minister was being evasive in his answer, that was like the last indication of where this is heading. And now, what we are hearing from sources, though I must qualify by saying that Enforcement Directorate officially is still sideless, but what we are hearing from sources on ground is that the arrest memo has been served. So the process of taking the Chief Minister into custody has begun. What happens here on is that, there will be formalities, the paperwork will be completed, the arrest memo will be signed, a copy of which will be given to him. There will be 2 witnesses as well. And then the process of bringing Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to the ED headquarters will begin. He'll be brought to the ED headquarters. ED team will have about 24 hours to present him in a court to seek custody. But given the kind of chaos that we are seeing outside the Chief Minister's residence, this will be easier said than done. Now the real challenge begins, because if he's brought out from the main door, there could be complete breakdown, and that's why CRPF, RAF and Delhi police has been deployed. At the ED headquarters also, there's heavy bandobast that has been put up. There are barricades that have been put up, police deployment also. So ED was preparing for this. After 9 summons, I think they just thought that this was the best way to seek cooperation. Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, is now in ED's custody.
What is the charge against the Delhi Chief Minister, or what grounds has he been arrested?
See, he was given a notice under Section 50 of PMLA, and that is the section under which the investigating officer took a call that he cannot be questioned as a witness. He has to be questioned as an accused in this particular case. The charge against him is of criminal conspiracy of robbing the exchequer of at least 100 crores and then using the proceeds of the crime, laundering the proceeds of the crime in a way so that the Aadmi Party's election campaign in Goa and other places were really aided. So that's the broad charge. But when the remand application is produced, I will not be surprised if you also see details about how there was destruction of evidence, details about how Arvind Kejriwal was actively part of the conspiracy, and yet in the cabinet meeting that happened where this liquor policy was approved of, he chose to put the onus completely on Manish Sisodia, who was then the excise minister. So all these charges are likely to follow. The reason ED wants him in custody is to look for more evidence. There are digital devices which have been seized. Extraction of information from those digital devices will also be carried out by the Enforcement Directorate before they produce their charge sheet.
All right, let me also go across to my colleagues Ananya and Anshul, both of whom are joining us from outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. So we now have confirmation from Arunima, we have confirmation from our investigations editor Manoj Gupta that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has been arrested in the 100 crore Liquorgate scam. Ananya, what are you seeing around you? And again, walk our viewers through what is the case that the ED has built against Mr. Kejriwal, because up until recently, he was not even mentioned as an accused in the various charge sheets that have been filed in this case so far.
Well, definitely, he though has not been made an accused in this particular case so far, but he had been, asked to come for questioning for last 9 summons. He has skipped all of them, created a ground for, in fact, non-cooperation, which is a clear ground under Section 19 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is the power to arrest of the Enforcement Directorate. You can see visuals right behind me. These are from the Chief Minister's residence. But what is very, very clear, the allegations, Zaka, against Arvind Kejriwal, number one, being that he had met Ms. K. Kavita and in fact had demanded her of 100 crore of this 100 crore, 50 crore were being arranged by YSRCP MP Manguta Reddy. She had asked him to do so, and the other half was being arranged by in fact her own team. Not only that, he was a part of those meetings that had taken place while the particular policy, the flouty policy, was actually being drafted. His residence was the place where these meetings had taken place. These are statements of none other than C. Arvind, who is the former secretary of the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. In fact, a note was also handed over to him for printing. This was the draft policy which was also available with the South Lobby, which had paid kickbacks in order to receive a favorable liquor policy in the national capital. Another big charge against Arvind Kejriwal is that he had welcomed Mr. Manguta Reddy's son, Raghav Manguta's entry into the Delhi liquor business and his company in the Delhi liquor business. Not only that, Vijay Nair is what he had so told Mr. Samir Mahindru on a FaceTime call. These are the allegations against him. Various people have given out statements against, in fact, the Delhi Chief Minister. He had been asked by the Enforcement Directorate since the last year to come and appear before it, but very clearly and categorically denying all those 9 summons. He had been creating a ground for, in fact, non-cooperation. And as you know, Zaka, we were discussing earlier as well, from the very beginning, each summons skipped in a case under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act is like digging up your own grave, taking the fate to your own hands. And finally, you can see Arvind Kejriwal being arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in this
Let me
particular
also,
case.
we have a whole bunch of guests from BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, other opposition parties, lawyers, etc., who are joining us in just a moment. But I also want to quickly go across to Anshul, who is joining us from outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. What is the political posturing and the political sloganeering that you're seeing outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence? Given this kind of an environment outside, how easy or difficult would it be for the ED officials and the other security personnel, Delhi police and other security personnel who are present there, to take him from his residence to the ED office, presumably?
Well, it's going to be a very uphill task for the Delhi police to actually manage the law and order situation. You can see in the visuals behind me, these are all the protesters that are still gathering over here. A few of them have gone to the other gate because they suspect that the chief minister could be taken out from the other end of the road, and hence they are making sure that from wherever he could be taken out, they could actually try and stop them from taking him to the Enforcement Directorate office. On the other hand, if I could show you the traffic situation as well, this would give the viewers an exact sense as to how difficult is it going to be for the Delhi police and the Enforcement Directorate and the CRPF who has been deployed on the ground to take the Delhi Chief Minister to the Enforcement Directorate. There is a massive traffic snarl that has already happened out here, and the traffic is absolutely at a standstill at this point in time. On the other hand, the sources within the Enforcement Directorate are telling us that Arvind Kejriwal was constantly being evasive of the questions that were being asked to him, and the Enforcement Directorate investigating officer is not satisfied with the manner in which the Delhi Chief Minister is answering, and hence he has decided that a custodial interrogation could be the best way to make sure that Arvind Kejriwal answers the questions in this entire matter. So yes, it remains to be seen when will the Delhi Chief Minister be taken out, but he has been arrested. The Delhi police is trying to clear the roads, trying to make a green corridor so that the Chief Minister could be taken to the Enforcement Directorate office with utmost safety. But yes, it is going to be a very, very long haul and an uphill task for the
we'll
Delhi
come back
Chief
to our
Minister.
reporters, to Anshul, Ananya, Arunima, as soon as we see the first pictures of Mr. Kejriwal being brought out. Let me open this up to our guests who are joining us. This is a breaking, developing story, a huge one which has political ramifications and legal ramifications as well. Abab Singh Grewal is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, RP Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist, joining us. Sumit Chandar is a lawyer and constitutional expert, Ashutosh Srivastava, also lawyer, Piyush Joshi, political analyst, also joining us. Let me start with you, Mr. Grewal, if you're there. The Delhi Chief Minister has been arrested. The ED says he avoided summons, he skipped the summons as many as 9 times, including the latest one today. He went to the Delhi High Court, which refused to give him any kind of interim protection, and therefore the ED had no choice but to arrest him. If he had nothing to hide, Mr. Kejriwal should have shown up to their office in any of these summons and answered their questions.
Mr. Jacob, thank you. I just request 3 minutes, just 3 minutes. You've got a galaxy of guests, just three uninterrupted minutes. First of all, we have a saying in Punjabi, Ji Ayan, you are welcome. You arrest us, you are welcome. 212 raids, nothing found, you are welcome. ED catches somebody's 490 crore property seizes, Mr. Santiago Martin, by the way, his name was, and 1600 crores, like he gives in bonds, not a big deal. Mega construction, not a big deal. And PMLA Act, which I'm sure your reporters were so good and on about, which they said, and they listed the whole case. This man said this man said this person said this. They haven't found a repeat. And just like the electoral bonds were declared unconstitutional after 5 years, but the BJP got 12,930 crores during that time. Well, big shakes. This will be knocked off in September. It's coming up for hearing in September, but they want that they through the elections that time. Now, I'll give you a fresh perspective. I'm talking from Punjab. Punjab is the state which gave 4 MPs to Aam Aadmi Party when Mr. Kejriwal started. We are proud. We are proud of the fact that Mr. Bhagwant Mann goes all over the country supporting secularism, federalism, and the rule of the law and the rule of the institutions. With Mr. Kejriwal, we have earned it. I have fought for this right for the past 12 years, and we are proud of this. Thirdly, you are more than welcome to arrest any of our leaders. You say corruption. 338 crores was the last time the Supreme Court was shown a piece of paper saying 338 is written. You said 100 crores. Well, you might need to make up for the discrepancy. What is the Liquorgate? Now that Liquorgate, the same liquor policy in Punjab has brought in 4,000 crores, an average more for the state exchequer. Well, that might be very wrong. That policy was never implemented. Mr. Kejriwal never signed up for anything. He does not have any department. And thank you very much for giving a detailed description of everything. And the BJP, I have another Punjabi saying, "Ab te khuda da vair hunda hai, tusi khuda kisse paya." RP Singh ji, samajh aunda hai, Bhagwan Ram nu tusi bachcha samajhde ho. Tusi eh kita ke Modi ji sara kuch kar de, and you have ruined the institutions and you are trying to. But
let me bring in your fellow Punjabi on the other side. Mr. RP Singh is also joining us because Mr. Singh, Mr. RP Singh, you know, first thing in the morning, Congress party says their accounts have been frozen, democracy has been frozen. Last thing in the night, Mr. Kejriwal, sitting chief minister, has been arrested. I can't recall too many times when sitting chief ministers have been arrested in India. So please respond to the charge by the AAP, by the Congress, other opposition parties, that Mr. Modi's government is stifling democracy and killing the opposition.
Well, I'll come to that after my first point. That is that Kejriwal last 6 months have been avoiding and ducking and have been skipping the ED's summon. It started way back in November. It is now March. And every time he has a new ground or new excuse or some pretext like Diwali or some pretext like Vipassana or elections or something. Now it is the parliament election. It was earlier the assembly elections. So he has been under some pretext. But the real thing came, and he was exposed yesterday when he went to the court and said that he should be not allowed to be arrested. That was the real reason. He was trying to avoid all this so that he should not be arrested. And that's what Abhishek Manu Singh said in the court also. And that's why they are trying to move to the Supreme Court for the same. But fact is that yes, scam has happened. I'll give you one example, and that will prove my point. There's this guy named Rajinder Singh, a Gujarati guy who contested election on behalf of Kejriwal in Gujarat. He was caught red-handed with a huge trunk of money. When he was caught, he was asked, "Whose money is this?" He said, "Oh, this is not my money. This money has come from Delhi for the election. And this is a man, my driver, is a conduit for sending," he used the word angry, "is a conduit for sending money from Delhi to here." So all this liquor scam money was used to contest and win elections. And so was in Punjab also. The money which they won elections in Punjab was a liquor scam money. So this is a big scam which has happened, and then they have to answer the question. Their fellow minister like Mr. Satinder Jain has applied for bail for almost 22 times, Mr. Manish Sisodia for 15 times, and Mr. Sanjay Singh for 7 times. Every time the bail has been rejected. Had there any ground, they could have got the bail. And one more thing, sir.
Okay.
They arrested, give me a second, another 5 seconds. They arrested 5 of the Congress former ministers in Punjab by the Vigilance Department under corruption charges. And that was okay. That was all okay because they arrested them. So, जब आप करें तो सब ठीक है. And then ED does it, then it's all questionable.
Okay, so let me bring in Sanjeev Srivastava, Sumit Chandar, Ashutosh Srivastava, Piyush Joshi as well. Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, you know, the point is, you've had in the space of the last month or so, 2 sitting chief ministers, first Hemant Soren in Jharkhand, and now you have Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi chief minister, being arrested, both in alleged corruption cases. There doesn't seem to be a political fallout, at least in any consequential way up until now, because in public perception, Mr. Modi is waging a war against corruption. In public perception, it's Modi's fight against the allegedly corrupt India alliance.
Very good evening, Zaka. So, in a way, you are right. But like you said in your intro, that this is one of those remarkable days when in the morning you had a presser by Rahul Gandhi saying the Congress accounts being frozen is like democracy being frozen, and before the night is out, in fact it's late evening only, the Delhi chief minister is arrested. So for an election, which according to every media outlet, observers, is already a done and dusted deal, the only controversy or debate is as to whether the BJP will cross last time's margin and with how much what kind of numbers, will it be 350, 370, 400? In that kind of an election where the outcome is seen as an open and shut case, there is just no dearth of drama. And which is fascinating, that why is all this happening at this time? in the specific case of Mr. Kejriwal, it's very difficult really to defend him in this, because from what we know and we gather, there was a case of a chief minister who never took on a portfolio. He never signed a file. So he was always very cautious and being too clever by half, if you may allow me to say so. Number two, this Kavita's arrest was the last nail in the proverbial coffin. That when you have somebody as high profile who's going to sing against Mr. Kejriwal, that was more or less a done deal. Avoiding summons, everything. So it's very difficult to defend him. The only thing is the timing. And now the BJP will say, what can we do? Law takes its own course. They don't see what the time is, day, night, elections. But the whole manner in which the BJP is going across the country, the only thing I always say is, yes, Arvind Kejriwal may be corrupt. It's likely there is something wrong with this liquor deal. We'll find out. The courts will have a say. But is all corruption only in opposition? Are there some kind of, what kind of a Teflon, what kind of a whitewash, what kind of holy people are running this government? There's not one single case which ever one of these agencies, all their intellect, might, heft, understanding of the law and execution of the law is all directed towards people who are politically opposed to the BJP.
Okay. Let me ask Sumit Chandar. Sumit Chandar is a lawyer and constitutional expert. Well, we don't know the provisions of the PMLA under which Mr. Kejriwal has been arrested. Presumably, we'll get to know that once he's produced in court. But apparently, under Section 50, and I believe there's a Delhi High Court ruling recently regarding Section 50, under which many other opposition political figures have been arrested, that mere non-evasiveness to questions or non-cooperation in the probe cannot be a grounds for arrest. That was one of the Delhi High Court judgments. Can you take our viewers through under what provisions could Mr. Kejriwal potentially be arrested? Because now we know that he has been formally arrested. The arrest memo has been served on him. The papers are being readied now, and once the papers are readied and signed, he will be brought out and taken to the ED office for questioning. But this whole amended PMLA, and particularly Section 50, has been the subject of intense legal scrutiny. Mr. Sumit Chandar.
Yes, see, Zaka, there's before the arrest, the power of arrest under the PMLA is given under Section 19. And of course, the arrest has been made under Section 19, provided that certain actions have been taken place which have resulted in this arrest. If I look at Section 45 of the PMLA Act, if you read that carefully, which of course gives you the regards the offences under the PMLA Act, it says that even under PMLA Act there are certain reasons why the bail may be granted or why a relief from the arrest may be granted. In that, three basic things have been given. One is that the public prosecutor has been given an opportunity to oppose the application. Fair enough, nothing wrong about it. Second is that there is a reasonable ground for believing that he is not guilty of such an offense. Now, that is the kind of a provision which is going to be actually hyped upon. Facts will be produced by the investigating authority, who are going to mainly focus on the grounds which will make the court believe that he is actually guilty of certain offense, so that the arrest can be taken to a logical conclusion. And the third is that he is not likely to commit any offense while on bail. So another thing which the ED is going to focus on, whether as the chief minister, as a sitting chief minister, he definitely has power, but is he or is he not likely to commit any offense while on bail? Now, these are the things which has to be produced, and these things have to be produced, and Mr. Kejriwal has to be produced before the magistrate or the concerned court within 24 hours of arrest. Now, these things will be taken up. Of course, Supreme Court has already now seized of the matter. High Court, this matter was already pending before the High Court. High Court has issued notice. So the matter is already sub judice before the High Court.
Okay.
Now, a protection relief has been sought from the Supreme Court, which might be taken up. There have been earlier instances also where Supreme Court had taken up late night issues of such.
But I just want to add, before I bring in Ashutosh Srivastava and Piyush Joshi, generally in matters concerning PMLA, and there have been other political leaders, opposition politicians who have been arrested under PMLA, from Satinder Jain to Manish Sisodia, Hemant Soren. Generally in PMLA cases, the courts have been reluctant to intervene in such matters, certainly not any kind of midnight hearing. We've not seen that in any of these cases so far. But generally, they have been reluctant to intervene in it because the provisions of the law as they exist are that the investigating authority, the prosecuting authority, has powers to arrest and to take coercive action in case of non-cooperation by an accused person. But Ashutosh Srivastava, one of the contentions that was made after the arrest of Ms. K. Kavita earlier over the weekend was that once her arrest happened, it was only a matter of time before Arvind Kejriwal was also arrested, because it is after Kavita's arrest, and I have the note here which was shared after Kavita's arrest. I'm just going to read from that before I come to you, Mr. Srivastava. According to a statement that was put out by the ED after Kavita's arrest, Kavita, along with others, quote, conspired with the top leaders of AAP, including Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia, for getting favors in the Delhi excise policy formulation and implementation. This was the first time that Mr. Kejriwal's name was taken in an official document put by the Enforcement Directorate. So, do you think after the weekend arrest of Ms. Kavita, this was just a matter of time? Mr. Kejriwal's arrest was going to be imminent?
See, it depends on the co-accused statement and also the statements given by different witnesses. And if the investigating agency, that is ED in this case, is satisfied that there are sufficient prima facie evidences against Mr. Kejriwal based on the statement of Ms. Kavita or maybe other accused or the witnesses, then in that case, as we know that under Section 50, they can issue summons to the accused to come and, give the statement and cooperate in the investigation. And when the person or the accused or the witness doesn't come, they have the powers under Section 19 of PMLA to arrest that person if they feel that the custodial interrogation of that person or accused or witness is important and crucial so far as that investigation they are conducting is concerned. And see, as we know that in all these matters, it all happens under the supervision of the special court. So it is not that only ED, of course, has the powers given under PMLA, which was also challenged before the Supreme Court earlier. But the Supreme Court also had confirmed that considering the, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and its provisions, and considering the powers being conferred upon to the Enforcement Directorate, there is nothing wrong. They have all these powers to do. And here in this case, if we see that obviously 9 summons were served, but Mr. Kejriwal had either of the options. That was either to go and cooperate in the investigation and help the investigation agency, whatever they needed, any documentation or his statements or a clarity on any issue, or else he had the option to challenge that summons before the appropriate court. But now we see that after 9 summons, when he approached Delhi High Court for quashing or maybe to have the interim relief for no coercive action, Delhi High Court was not convinced and it rejected interim application. And accordingly
Piyush Joshi is also joining us. He's a political
hearing.
analyst. The fact that Arvind Kejriwal 10 or 12 years ago in 2012, 2013 burst into the national consciousness as a corruption crusader, anti-corruption crusader. He was one of the founder members of India Against Corruption. For a person like that, today, after 12 years, he's been arrested in the Liquorgate Gothala. What a fall this has been, Mr. Joshi. What a fall in public perception this has been for Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who started off with India Against Corruption. Today, he is being accused as one of the prime beneficiaries of this mega kickback scheme disguised as the Liquorgate.
Well, first and foremost, let us go back in history to the days of demonetization. It was a big policy failure on behalf of the central government. If you look at the accountancy, if you look at the audits of those, no audit was done as to how much loss to the exchequer that demonetization did.
as the ex-Prime Minister rightly said, it was a legalized plunder. So today what has happened in way of arresting a duly elected Chief Minister is a legalized atrocity. So the Enforcement Directorate is leaving no stone unturned to act as an executive arm of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have seen that it is already
but
acting
Mr.
as an
Joshi,
extortion agency.
if Arvind Kejriwal was squeaky clean,
to that.
and that is his public persona, that's his public image, he should have
got
shown
your
up
question.
for the N number of summons, the 9 summons that the ED issued him.
I totally agree with you, because Mr. Kejriwal, we are at the fag end of the Lok Sabha election. Mr. Kejriwal was probably, to my mind, was posturing politically by skipping those summons, and was kind of daring the Enforcement Directorate to do what he wanted them to do in any case. So probably this arrest was maybe unavoidable, because if you avoid 9 summons and the High Court fails to grant you the relief, then definitely Enforcement Directorate is well within its rights to arrest. That is why I said
So
that
the
it is a
point
legalized
is,
atrocity.
the point is, this arrest could have been, if the attempt was that he will try and gain political mileage by pushing it closer and closer to the Lok Sabha election, then you cannot blame the Enforcement Directorate for the timing. Because Mr. Kejriwal chose the timing. Had he appeared in November when the first summons was issued, then you couldn't have made this political timing argument.
Look, Mr. Kejriwal has been very smart at it. He has never said that he is not going to appear. He has always said that he is going to appear via video conferencing. So nobody is blaming ED for the timing. Nobody is blaming ED for arresting Mr. Kejriwal. Everybody is blaming for the partisan way. It is very clear to each and every citizen of India when it comes to Himanta Biswa Sarma, how many summons have been issued in the last 9 years. Okay, it's been 9 years. How many summons have been issued? And here in a 5-month period, you issue 9 summons to Arvind Kejriwal, you arrest Hemanta Soren, you arrest Arvind Kejriwal, you freeze the accounts of the largest opposition party, and you arrest the convener of the fastest growing opposition party.
Okay.
So the signals are very clear.
So RP Singh, please respond. Like I said, from Congress saying their accounts have been frozen in the morning to today, Delhi Chief Minister in the night, post 9 o'clock being arrested in the Liquorgate scandal. Why is it that not one BJP leader of any repute has been raided or arrested or searches or seizures, but all the corruption seems to be with the opposition?
Not even summoned.
RP Singh, yeah.
Laka, thank you. On your debate today, the Aam Aadmi Party supporter and sympathizer has accepted. Yes, Mr. Kejriwal was doing or skipping all these summons for political posturing. So if you try to play politics with the constitution or with the law agencies, with the agencies, then you have to face the tune of the law. I mean, you can skip summons, or you can't show thumb to the ED for 9 times, and then that's what Mr. Kejriwal did for his political objectives. But again, as far the income tax department goes, I mean, income tax department, they had gone to all the appellate courts, and everywhere they could have gone. They have tried, and then their appeal has been rejected. I mean, they are running a political party. They are not running a dynastic company. I mean, everything is as per law. And if I don't pay tax, obviously the income tax will seize my assets. And same has happened with the Congress party. But who's saying that Congress party don't have money? That's 350 crore rupees. I mean, we don't know how many such cash banks Congress party has countrywide.
But RP Saab, the larger point opposition is making against your government is you're killing the political opposition in this country by unleashing ED, IT, CBI, etc. on them.
I'll answer that. One of my friends spoke about Himanta Biswa Sarma. Mr. Joshi, I'll give you a challenge. Please hire best of the lawyer in the country. I'll pay the fee from my side. I'm assuring this on the national channel. Then I'll pay the fee from my side. You win the case. My fees is on my check. But if you lose the case, you pay the double the fees to me, because there is no case. I mean, you can keep reiterating what you want to.
Mr. Singh, you were saying Amit Shah was lying.
Did I interfere? Mr. Joshi, please. I mean, don't heckle like Aam Aadmi Party.
I'm not heckling, Baba. Amit Shah was lying, you mean to say?
No, one sec. Let him finish. Let RP Singh finish, yeah.
Mr. Joshi, accept my challenge. I'm telling you, please, I'm prepared to pay as much money you spend. Hire Abhishek Manu Singhvi, hire one of the best guys who have hired from Mr. Kejriwal, and move the court. We'll pay the fee for that. But with that, you have to pay the check double the amount if you lose the case.
So let Mr. Joshi respond. I'll go to Abab Singh Grewal after that. I need to take a break right after that. Yeah, Mr. Joshi, quick response, please.
Singh Saab, you are misplacing the challenge. You're challenging me. You should challenge Amit Shah ji, who blamed Himanta Biswa Sarma of the Louis Berger scam. It was not me. It was the advertisement and it was the speeches of the Honorable Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. He blamed Himanta Biswa Sarma. Ajit Dada Pawar was blamed by Prime Minister Modi. He said that he is responsible for 11,000 crore rupees scam. So challenge them. Challenge them.
Mr. Grewal, today the focus is on Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and his alleged role in this Liquorgate scam. I keep going back to this. For a man who started in public life and in national attention with the India Against Corruption, has this not been a fall from grace, a fall from a pedestal and a fall from an image of being this anti-corruption crusader to today being allegedly the beneficiary of a 100 crore kickback scam? Mr. Grewal.
Not at all. Punjab is the first state which embraced Mr. Kejriwal's ideology, and Punjab is the first state which has now brought a government with Mr. Kejriwal's ideology, and we are proud of the fact that Mr. Maan heads that state because he has brought that government into power. Number one, nobody has fallen off any pedestal. It was 338 crores, it was this, it was that. The beauty of the fact is that the 7 suicidal bomber aunties behind your reporter will make sure that the way is clear. This is what I'm seeing today. That the fact of the matter is that you are ready to put everybody under the scanner without a doubt. And Mr. R.P. Singh, you don't talk about challenges. You ran from a challenge in Shahkot, sir. Jalandhar by-election, remember? We were there for a debate and you ran from that debate. I challenge you to debate me anytime. Sadji chete hai gurdwara jo parking jo bhaje si.
मैं किसी मेरा फिर तुम झूठ बोल रहे हो और मेरा नाम गल कर रहे हो तुम वो कृपा करके कोई वीडियो दिखा दो जिथों मैं किसी डिबेट तो रखा मैं पंजाब कोई डिबेट करन गया नहीं सिलेक्शन है कृपा करके झूठ बोलना बंद करो और ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਝੂਠ ਦਾ ਪਟਾਰਾ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਚਲਾਇਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦੇ ਘੁਟਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਜਿੱਤਿਆ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਏਗਾ
I'm going to take a break, please. Gentlemen, I'm going to take a break, but I want to thank our guests. I'll go to our reporters right after the break, but try and get a status check of what's happening there. Let's also try and see if we can get some live pictures. What you're seeing right now is intense drama outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. Aadmi Party protesters, supporters who were sitting on a sit-in dharna outside the Chief Minister's residence are being taken one by one into buses, and of course they'll be detained because Section 144 has been imposed outside the Chief Minister's residence. The Delhi Chief Minister, ladies and gentlemen, has been formally now arrested by the Enforcement Directorate for his alleged role in the 100 crore Liquorgate scam. We'll have continuing coverage of this breaking story right on the other side of this quick break.
Presented by.
Is this classic legal? All right, let's listen to Atishi, who's just speaking outside the Chief Minister's house.
तो अरेस्ट कर लिया है। ये बिल्कुल साफ था, जितनी भारी संख्या में पुलिस आई थी, जितनी भारी संख्या में पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस यहाँ पे स्टेशन थे, कि आज ईडी अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को अरेस्ट करने के लिए आ रही है। अरविंद केजरीवाल का अरेस्ट भारतीय जनता पार्टी की और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की एक राजनीतिक साजिश है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को अगर किसी एक नेता
Chief Minister has been arrested. This is a huge developing story. This is a big breaking story, ladies and gentlemen. A sitting Chief Minister, the sitting Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, has been arrested in the Liquorgate probe. Remember, he had approached the Delhi High Court asking for protection earlier today. That was denied by a division bench, and basis that the ED has been questioning him since a little past 7 o'clock this evening. After 2 hours plus of questioning, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has been arrested. Now, he will be taken away from his residence. He will be taken to the ED office. Of course, they can keep him there for about 24 hours, after which he will have to be produced before a magistrate where the ED will ask for further custody. But for now, Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, has been arrested in the Liquorgate scandal. Many other political netas have also been arrested in this case. The latest, of course, was K. Kavita, the BRS chief. Before that, Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh. And now today, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Arunima has more details. Arunima.
It was all building up to this. When the Enforcement Directorate probe team said that their Chief Minister was being evasive in his answer, that was like the last indication of where this is heading. And now, what we are hearing from sources, though I must qualify by saying that Enforcement Directorate officially is still tight-lipped, but what we are hearing from sources on ground is that the arrest memo has been served. So the process of taking the Chief Minister into custody has begun. What happens here on is that, there will be formalities, the paperwork will be completed, the arrest memo will be signed, a copy of which will be given to him. There will be 2 witnesses as well. And then the process of bringing Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to the ED headquarters will begin. He'll be brought to the ED headquarters. ED team will have about 24 hours to present him in a court to seek custody. But given the kind of chaos that we are seeing outside the Chief Minister's residence, this will be easier said than done. Now the real challenge begins, because if he's brought out from the main door, there could be complete breakdown, and that's why CRPF, RAF and Delhi Police has been deployed. At the ED headquarters also, there's heavy bandobast that has been put up. There are barricades that have been put up, police deployment also. So ED was preparing for this. After 9 summons, I think they just thought that this was the best way to seek cooperation. Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, is now in ED's custody.
What is the charge against the Delhi Chief Minister, or what grounds has he been arrested?
See, he was given a notice under Section 50 of PMLA, and that is the section under which the investigating officer took a call that he cannot be questioned as a witness. He has to be questioned as an accused in this particular case. The charge against him is of criminal conspiracy of robbing the exchequer of at least 100 crores and then using the proceeds of the crime, laundering the proceeds of the crime in a way so that the Aadmi Party's election campaign in Goa and other places were really aided. So that's the broad charge. But when the remand application is produced, I will not be surprised if you also see details about how there was destruction of evidence, details about how Arvind Kejriwal was actively part of the conspiracy, and yet in the cabinet meeting that happened where this liquor policy was approved of, he chose to put the onus completely on Manish Sisodia, who was then the excise minister. So all these charges are likely to follow. The reason ED wants him in custody is to look for more evidence. There are digital devices which have been seized. Extraction of information from those digital devices will also be carried out by the Enforcement Directorate before they produce their charge sheet.
All right, let me also go across to my colleagues Ananya and Anshul, both of whom are joining us from outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. So we now have confirmation from Arunima, we have confirmation from our investigations editor Manoj Gupta that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has been arrested in the 100 crore Liquorgate scam. Ananya, what are you seeing around you? All right, there's high drama outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence in central Delhi. He has now been formally arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. There's been huge protests outside his residence. Aam Aadmi Party workers and supporters are being now marshalled away by the Delhi police and other security personnel who are present there. He will now be taken from his residence to the Enforcement Directorate, where he will be kept overnight and then produced before a magistrate tomorrow. Arunima is now joining us live from the ED office. Ananya and Anshul from outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. Arunima, what are the grounds and what are the charges against the Delhi Chief Minister for which he's been arrested today?
The charges are of criminal conspiracy, of robbing the exchequer of hundreds of crores and then using the proceeds of the crime, laundering the proceeds of the crime to fund the Aam Aadmi Party's election campaign. Those are the broad charges under which Aam Aadmi Party's national convener and Delhi's Chief Minister has been taken by Enforcement Directorate into custody. I don't know if you can see the police barricades that have been put up. This is the road leading up to the Enforcement Directorate. On both sides of the road, from the Khan Market side and also from the Connaught Place side, from the Aurangzeb Road side, this has been blocked completely. completely. Traffic is being allowed only after they are being scanned properly by the policemen, and that is because they suspect that Aam Aadmi Party will try and create a law and order situation here. There are 3 layers of barricading right outside the Enforcement Directorate gate as well. So they are expecting Arvind Kejriwal to be brought here shortly. There's a massive traffic jam being reported en route, so it could take some time. But the ED is preparing to keep Arvind Kejriwal here in the lockup of the Enforcement Directorate office overnight, and then produce him in the court, in the Rouse Avenue court. With that remand application, there will be further clarity as to exactly what charges further will the IO be pressing against the Delhi Chief Minister.
All right, Arvind, stay on with us. I also have Anshul from outside Kejriwal's residence. Anshul, what is happening there right now? I believe that the Aam Aadmi Party workers, supporters who were squatting outside his house, they were sloganeering. They are being escorted, they are being marshaled away one after another. Describe to us what is happening outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. By when do you expect Mr. Kejriwal to be moved out from his residence and be taken to the ED office?
So yes, the situation outside the Delhi Chief Minister office is getting more and more troublesome with every passing minute. As more people are gathering in over here, they have actually managed to go ahead and block the roads of this very, very important area out here in the national capital, that is the civil lines. Currently, I'm standing at the other gate of the Delhi Chief Minister's office. Protesters have not been able to reach over here. They have already been stopped by the salutes of Delhi police, and that is the reason why we are expecting that within the next few minutes, as we speak, the Delhi Chief Minister would be taken out from this gate and would be taken straight to the Enforcement Directorate office, where he would be kept in the lockup. You can see the kind of security arrangements have been made. The area has been cleared. In fact, a cordon off has already been made to keep the media at bay as well. So yes, definitely, it seems like in the next few minutes the Delhi Chief Minister would be taken out, and it is from this route that the Chief Minister would be taken out and then would be taken away from here. So yes, it remains to be seen when will that happen, but definitely the Enforcement Directorate is now absolutely sure that they need to question the Chief Minister in their custody, and hence this decision has been taken by the investigating officer of this matter to take Arvind Kejriwal under their custody and take him to the Enforcement Directorate. So yes, just within the next few minutes, we are expecting that he would be taken out from this gate and would be taken to the Enforcement Directorate office, Zaga.
All right, let me also go back to Arunima. Arunima, in terms of, we had K. Kavita's arrest over the weekend last. All right, Ananya is also now joining us. Ananya, we had K. Kavita's arrest, which happened over the last weekend. And then ever since she was arrested, the ED, I believe, also put out a formal statement outlining what they believed and what they alleged was her role. And that's when they named Kejriwal, and they said that there were kickbacks allegedly to the tune of 100 crore rupees that went into the Aam Aadmi Party's coffers, which then they used to fight elections in Punjab and in Goa. Tell us, what is the case against Arvind Kejriwal, particularly in what has been mentioned in the charge sheet, the calls with Samir Mahindru, the meeting with the sons of one of the MPs from Telangana? Just walk us through what has been mentioned in reference to Arvind Kejriwal in the multiple charge sheets in this case.
Security forces are clearing the roads here outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. You can see high drama unfolding here, where the security forces just a while ago took away certain protesters from here, and the RAF is trying to open the traffic on these roads right adjacent to, in fact, the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. You can see the action of the forces right here. You can see the RAF coming into action. You can see these people trying to control the law and order situation here, trying to maintain and see no kind of uncertainty happens. Coming back to the Delhi liquor policy case, we saw a high-profile arrest taking place just a few days ago of K. Kavita, and her remand note, Zaka, was a very, very key aspect why Arvind Kejriwal today has been arrested, because that remand note mentions the statement of Manguta Reddy, YSRCP MP, whose son was a part of this South lobby, who was a beneficiary, alleged beneficiary, as alleged by the Enforcement Directorate in this particular case. You can see these visuals, how these protesters are being taken away by the Delhi police and the security forces. You can see the RAF, the Delhi police, trying to pull out these protesters from here. There are high drama unfolding outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. You can see how these people are trying to resist the Delhi police and the RAF, who are trying to maintain the law and order situation. They are not succumbing to the Delhi police's request that please vacate this particular road. The traffic has to be, kept going. But you can see how these protesters are being taken away by the Delhi police. These are people who had come out in support of the Delhi Chief Minister while there were news that the ED teams had reached, in fact, the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. You can see these people being taken away by the Delhi police and the RAF, who are trying, in fact, to maintain a law and order situation, who are trying to open these roads for general traffic to pass, and the Delhi police making all efforts to take away these protesters who have now sit on the roads, who are in fact who are being dragged on these roads, who are trying to stay and resist the security forces here. But this case has unfolded in a very unlikely manner. If you remember, just a few days ago, the CBI had also told the Delhi court that a high-profile arrest is likely to happen in this particular case. Not only this, what was also very, very clear is that K. Kavita, it was a submission, it was a remand paper that clearly mentioned that K. Kavita had met Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who had in turn asked her to arrange for 100 crore rupees, which was to be given as kickbacks for a favorable policy by, in fact, the Delhi government, and that had resulted into this particular Liquorgate saga, as we popularly call it, and you can see the high drama unfolding outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence.
All right, Arunima, just walk our viewers through. There have been at least one judgment of the Delhi High Court recently which talked about Section 50 and the alleged misuse of Section 50 and Section 19 of the PMLA to arrest political opponents, as it were, in this case Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and that mere evasive answers or non-cooperation does not necessarily mean that the investigating agency has the automatic right to arrest. Just walk us through, how this may or may not shape the case that the ED has against the Delhi Chief Minister, who they've now arrested, because the entire opposition has been tweeting for the better part of the last 1 hour that democracy is being stifled and the opposition is being killed using agencies like the ED, IT and CBI.
Yes, and before I answer that question, I would ask Narendra to just show you around. Section 144 CRPC is imposed here. That's the board outside the Enforcement Directorate office. There is police deployment. The entire lane leading up to ED office has been sealed. So there's no vehicle being allowed from this side. One gate has been left open, that too only for official vehicles to come in. So that's the feel and sense of the ED office here in New Delhi. But to answer your question about the case that the ED is hoping to build against Arvind Kejriwal, they have already filed multiple charge sheets in this matter. Trial has not yet begun. Manish Sisodia was in jail. Sanjay Singh is in jail. Satyendra Jain has been forced to go back to jail after the recent judicial pronouncement. Now the national convener of the party, Arvind Kejriwal himself, is in custody. So politically speaking, Aam Aadmi Party is in dire straits at the moment. But the ED argues that, matters came to this because of non-cooperation of the highest order. What they're going to cite, yes, you're right, there has been previous orders from the Supreme Court that just because somebody is evasive or not being cooperative should not be grounds enough for arrest. But in this case, ED's legal team and the investigating team both are on the same page, that evading 9 summons clearly shows that you have complete disregard for the law and for the agency. Hemant Soren also went by the same route and ultimately he was taken into custody. And now the second chief minister from the opposition rank, Arvind Kejriwal, has had to face arrest as well. ED says that we have enough proof. K. Kavita's questioning, evidence after Sanjay Singh's questioning, raids on personal aides of Arvind Kejriwal have given us enough material and we want to confront him with that. So over the next 12 hours or so before he is produced in court, ED's IO will try and seek some of those answers and they will press for custody when he is produced in the Rouse Avenue court. At least 10 days, could be more. Let's see if the court agrees.
All right. Arunima there with details from outside the Enforcement Directorate's office. Let me go across to some of our guests who are joining us. Mr. Mahesh Bigala is a leader of the BRS party. Anuja Kapoor is spokesperson with the BJP. Rukmini Singh is a lawyer. Mr. Bigala, let me ask you first. the final sort of closing in of the net on Arvind Kejriwal was after the arrest of your leader K. Kavita last Saturday. It was after that that the ED issued a statement which for the first time named Mr. Arvind Kejriwal formally in an ED statement. The ED's contention is that the whole route, the whole change of policy was designed in a way to favor certain liquor operators, and they in turn paid K. Kavita, who in turn allegedly paid the Aadmi party kickbacks for its election campaigns in Punjab and Goa, etc. So please respond to what the ED's case so far, at least what they put out in the public domain against both your leader, and basis that they have today now arrested the Delhi Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal.
So the ED and CBI have been investigating this case for the last 2 years. The case is not new. They've been investigating for the last 2 years. But what we need to look at is the timing of the arrest and when the elections are coming up the next month in the April and month of May. So this is nothing but more of politically motivated case. And we know that the ED, they have filed until unless it's proven nobody is guilty, but the ED has filed the charge sheet against our leader Kavita and again Arvind Kejriwal and several other people. But the timing, they want to get the arrest and the gain, it's a political gain for the BJP party.
Okay. 1 second, Mr. Vikas, I'll come back to you. Sorry for the interruption, but Mr. Vikas Singh is a former Additional Solicitor General to the Government of India. Thank you very much, Mr. Singh, for speaking with us. If you can explain to our viewers in layman terms the basis on which Mr. Kejriwal has been arrested, because so far he's not been named as an accused in any of the charge sheets. The references to Mr. Kejriwal are allegedly one phone call that happened between Samir Mahindru and one of the aides of Mr. Kejriwal, and another instance after the arrest of Ms. Kavita, which came to light that he met with the son of a MP of one of the Telugu parties, where again this whole liquor scam was discussed. Is this grounds enough for arrest under PMLA?
Well, so as far as the facts are concerned, it is very difficult for me to comment on the basis of what you tell me as the facts that you know about. So it's not something which can be second guessed by me. But you know, the more startling thing is that this is the 9th summon. And whatever it is, we are governed by the rule of law. And I don't think anybody can claim to be above the law. And the Chief Minister feels that he is above the law, then he is definitely and sadly mistaken. So if you felt that the whole case is completely motivated or it is a bogus case, why did you challenge the very first summon? I mean, why have you waited for the 8th summon and then gone to the High Court? And High Court also did not grant you an ex parte. Every day we appear in court. And every day we ask for an ex parte because we say there is a likelihood of an arrest. So whatever it be, even though the High Court may have issued notice, High Court did not grant an ex parte stay. So obviously High Court has seen something on the side of the ED to not grant an ex parte stay. So obviously the legal process has not gone in your favor so far. If it has not gone in your favor, even if you say it is a politically motivated case, which it may be, I can't comment on that because that's something which I don't have any, privy. But as a legal person, I feel this a little, unnerving that somebody can just ignore a summon as if that he doesn't believe in the rule of law, doesn't go to the court of law, doesn't challenge the summon. And he waits for the 8th summon to go to a court of law, and then also he gets simply notice. He's not able to make out a case for an ex parte stay. So I don't see, any impediment in the ED arresting somebody who has not responded to the 9 summons issued to him.
No, I believe that Mr. Kejriwal did go and ask for quashing, and the court refused to quash it. But I do want to ask you, Mr. Singh. Recently, there was a Delhi High Court judgment specifically dealing with Section 19, Section 50 of the PMLA. This is, of course, what is used to arrest individuals who are accused. And the court had said that mere non-cooperation or giving evasive answers cannot be grounds under Section 19 or 50 for arrest of these individuals. May that or may that not come into play in this case?
So, actually, if you see, there is a fundamental right also of every individual in this country of remaining silent. So nobody can be arrested for not answering a question of the investigating agencies. So that is which is that is a completely separate issue altogether. And the fact that you've not answered can never be a ground for an arrest. But unfortunately, this is not how the courts have been interpreting the law. Because if you recall, even Mr. Manish Sisodia was arrested only because he was not answering the questions, which according to me is a fundamental right to remain silent. And the US Supreme Court has held that the right to remain silent is definitely a right vested in every citizen of a country. So you can't be compelled to answer questions if you don't want, if you just want to keep quiet. So that's a separate debate, but that's unfortunately not being, implemented in this country. The courts have not been, following this dictum. They have been granting, not been granting bail simply on the ground that a person says that I have a right to remain silent. So I don't see how Arvind Kejriwal can be singled out in this kind of treatment. If you ask my personal view, I would say that definitely every individual has a right to remain silent. But unfortunately, the courts have not given this liberty to people. And if they have not given it to people in this country, then that's the rule of law.
Okay. I do also want to ask you, now the Kejriwal legal team has approached the Supreme Court. They're asking for an immediate hearing. They're pressing for a midnight hearing, perceived as out of the way hearings, as it were.
Very, very difficult for me to second guess what the Chief Justice of India will do. But the way he granted a hearing to Mr. Soren, when he had already resigned as a chief minister, I will not be surprised that Mr. Kejriwal also gets a hearing. But in my view, if you ask my personal view, I don't think he has made out any case for a midnight hearing, because if this is the 9th summon, if he has not responded to 8 summons, then why should the court go out of turn and hear him at midnight if he had ample time for the last 2 months to go to a court and get these summons stayed or quashed?
Okay.
Then why the court do a midnight hearing for him and grant him this hearing? So I leave it. I don't want to second guess the Chief Justice.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Vikas Singh. Let me now bring in our other guests as well. Anuja Kapoor of the BJP, Rukmini Singh is a lawyer, Susiben Shah is a lawyer and spokesperson for the Shiv Sena Shinde faction, Anmol Pawar, spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party, will also be joining us. Anuja Kapoor, the charge against you, and this is a political charge, every opposition party in this country is saying BJP is stifling democracy, it is killing the opposition, it is using IT, CBI, ED, etc. to stifle the voice of the opposition. You're putting all opposition leaders under frivolous cases, under pretentious cases, only to try and finish off the opposition so that you can get 370 seats or 400 seats. Please respond to the opposition's charge.
Good evening to everyone. I do not understand what kind of allegation they are trying to put it up to the BJP party. As I'm a spokesperson to BJP and I'm not spokesperson to ED, in the same manner, the ED it's an own constitutional thing and it is a legally bounded rules and regulations which are being followed. Did Kejriwal ask BJP party that they want to open up this Delhi liquor case? Did they inquire about with the BJP party? How can BJP party be a party to Arvind Kejriwal? We are just a party like Arvind Kejriwal's party, like Congress party. So how does a party can be a party to an ED or a CBI?
Ma'am,
So
your party is ruling the central government. Your party is ruling, I think, in 15 or 16 states.
But how would BJP
the allegation is that you are using. You are using. No, the political party, which is the ruling party, is using the agencies to settle political scores. That is the allegation against you.
That is what I'm saying, Zakir. This is impossible because we cannot just hold on this. We are not the people who putting the CBI and ED in cage parrot. We have Modi ji is the Prime Minister of India, is not the President of BJP. So I need to understand that how they are trying to put CBI and ED into the pocket of BJP party. So this is something which is really need to be understood again and again to all the opposition parties. We have also been in the opposition in Congress times. ED and CBI has been a cage parrot of Congress, has never put a finger on the BJP at that moment also. I would like to put it forward.
Okay.
Arvind Kejriwal's deeds have come up. They have come up to a closure now. He's been exposed, and the exposure is done by himself. He went to the court to grant the bill.
Let me ask Anmol Pawar of the Aam Aadmi Party. 9 summons is what the Chief Minister skipped, including the latest one today. He went to the Delhi High Court, asked for interim protection. The court refused to give him interim protection. If he has nothing to hide, if he's not corrupt, why is he not showing up before the ED and answering these questions? ED has been summoning him since November. 4.5 months they have waited before this arrest. Mr. Pawar.
Jaka, today is a black day in Indian democracy as a sitting CM has been arrested in a so-called liquor scam, which is nothing but an investigation scam. The 9 summons which were served on Mr. Kejriwal were duly replied by him. He asked categorically whether he was arrested, whether he was to be inquired as an accused or as a witness. Today, the counsel for the ED has admitted that he is not an accused and he is a witness. Then he is covered by the judgment of Honorable Supreme Court, Pankaj Bansal versus Union of India, which you referred just now, which says that under Section 50, read with Section 90, a witness cannot be arrested. Now the ED and the Bharatiya Janata Party, on whose behest this agency is working, they must answer why they have arrested Mr. Kejriwal.
Okay.
And we also make them very clear that we won't suppress before them. We won't suppress before the murderers of democracy and constitution, howsoever hard they may try.
I want to ask Rukmini Singh, what the ED charge sheet says is 2 instances where Mr. Kejriwal, one of them happens to be a video call with one of the accused. In the other instance, it happens to be a physical meeting with one of the beneficiaries of the changed liquor policy. Are these grounds for arrest in PMLA because he is being accused of changing the policy to benefit certain private players, and in turn those private players gave kickbacks to the Aam Aadmi Party for it to fight elections in Goa, Punjab, etc. Rukmini Singh.
Oh, definitely. These are allegations and he can be arrested on these allegations. So Arvind Kejriwal, the ED is giving their proof in the court, and on basis of those proofs, High Court has issued summons which Arvind Kejriwal has evaded, and these are grounds of arrest definitely, and thereby ED has come to his residence to arrest him. Not just this, time and again, I would like to add here that Arvind Kejriwal and his party has been betraying the voters of Delhi. Today itself, I filed a PIL in court against Delhi government. Delhi government has been using the consolidated fund of the state since 2013 to pay the imams and muezzins of Delhi Waqf Board and non-Waqf Board. Now there's also been a steep jump in the funds from 2 crores to 10 crores. This is complete politics of appeasement by Arvind Kejriwal.
No, ma'am, let's stick to the issue at hand. The issue at hand is the alleged corruption in the Liquorgate scam. Let's stick to that issue, please. Rukmini Singh, let's talk about the alleged Liquorgate scam and Mr. Kejriwal's alleged role in the Liquorgate scam. Let's not deviate into other topics, please.
Arvind Kejriwal has been evading ED notices since November. He has time for Vipassana, he has time to campaign for Madhya Pradesh election, but not appear for ED summons. He has called this situation himself. Now they're saying that he's getting arrested. People are saying that this is a false arrest, impersonating. But the truth is that ED has been giving, the High Court has noticed him, and ED has been sending notices, but he's been clearly evading it. So he's only called the situation now. He's being arrested. It is completely a fair charge, and he should be arrested on this.
Okay, let me also get Susi Ben Shah from the Shinde Sena to respond to. All political parties are tweeting, including opposition parties from Maharashtra, saying the fact that Mr. Kejriwal's arrest is happening after the model code of conduct has been in place, that they are saying is a mockery of the election process. It's a mockery of the fact that the government is still using investigating agencies to take coercive action, it is making the playing field uneven or unlevel, is the charge against your allies, the BJP and your ruling government.
Good evening to all in Jai Maharashtra. You see, this is coming for the past 2 years. It was in 2022 that the policy was scrapped. It was at 2022 that investigation was sought in and was ED got into investigating the matter. 9 times the summons were served, right from November. There were various occasions Mr. Kejriwal could have appeared before the ED, given the explanation. If he was clean, he should have gone there, given his hearing. In this particular matter, Mr. Singh, Mr. Sisodia have been arrested. Supreme Court has looked into the case. The bails have been rejected. The High Court in this matter of Mr. Kejriwal, they heard the matter. We have to rely on the wisdom of the High Court and the Supreme Court. And prima facie, they feel that this needs to be investigated. And therefore, Mr. Kejriwal, 9 months coming, should have gone to the ED and produced his case before them. Why is he holding Delhi to ransom today, harassing the Delhiites? I fail to understand.
All right. I believe Delhi police, you can see those pictures. They're putting out a cordon outside the residence of the chief minister to try and keep the crowds from not coming close to the gates of the residence. I believe they are preparing now to try and manage the crowd and to take Mr. Kejriwal away in that blue truck belonging to the Delhi police. He will be taken to the ED office, which is in central Delhi, where of course he will be questioned, and tomorrow he will have to be produced in court. So think about it. If the court gives the ED custody, Mr. Kejriwal will be spending Holi, which is one of the most important festivals here in northern India. He will be spending Holi in custody, in a lockup in ED custody. That is if of course the court grants the ED custody. But this is a very, very big development, both from a legal and a political point of view. The India Alliance has been putting out statement after statement. Various leaders from Sharad Pawar to the Congress party's leaders have all condemned the arrest of Arvind Kejriwal. Of course, the merits of the case will have to be decided by a court of law. Their contention is on A, the timing, B, the fact that it's happening even as Lok Sabha elections have been called and the model code of conduct is in place. So, Anuja Kapoor, please respond to that. They're also criticizing the Election Commission, saying how can the Election Commission allow for this flagrant use of agencies to intimidate opposition while the election process is already on? Ma'am.
Zaka, I feel this is something which that when he was doing corruption, he was not thinking on this. And when the Election Commission is on a different concept and ED is a different concept. So what is happening is right now is that when he went to the court also, the court did not stay anything. And ED has been allowed to give him the summons. So did that court say that because it is going to be holy or there is a code of conduct, please don't give ED summons to Arvind Kejriwal? No. Because this is a rule of law. How does anything which has been done in an event and the trail has been, even the Supreme Court has justified with the trail, which is the windfall gains in Manish Sisodia's area, and it was of rupees 338 crore already been that kind of a trail has already been brought up in front of the Supreme Court. So we are looking into the events which have been following. It is not that somebody is picking one from here, one from there. No. So what we are looking into is that Arvind Kejriwal should have given up his, the documents in front of the ED. He should not have evased from all the summons. He should have appeared in that manner rather than making a mockery of this. He should have set an example once again when he wanted to say that he is a non-corrupt party.
Anmol Pawar, the fact that the Chief Minister has been referred to on 2 occasions, one a FaceTime meeting, the other a physical meeting in the ED charge sheet, the fact that Mr. Manish Sisodia, who was the Deputy Chief Minister under Mr. Kejriwal, has moved for bail. He's been in jail now for the better part of almost a year now, in fact more than a year now. The fact that in Manish Sisodia's case, he's moved for bail at least 12 times and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Even the Supreme Court has refused to give him bail. So prima facie, there has to be some merit in that case for even the Supreme Court to have rejected Mr. Sisodia's bail. Mr. Panwa,
There was three specific, Zaka, after investigating for more than 2 years, after obtaining statements of more than 500 witnesses, after conducting more than 700 raids, ED has failed to recover a single penny in this so-called investigation scam. The Honorable Supreme Court categorically denied the contentions made by Enforcement Directorate that a bribe was paid to Manish Sisodia. In fact, that was not even a charge and was not even argued. The fact is that yesterday we went to the Honorable Delhi High Court and we challenged the summons which were issued to Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal ji. The ED vehemently opposed and said that the petition is not maintainable. But the court did not listen to their contentions and issued a notice and asked them to file a reply so that the matter can be dealt with after hearing both the sides. Today, the Honorable Delhi High Court repeatedly questioned the Enforcement Directorate as to why there couldn't be a hearing on this matter and why shouldn't an interim relief be granted to Honorable Delhi CM. They also sought that if they are in possession of a single piece of evidence, then they must show it to the court. But they failed to provide even a single piece of evidence. And the matter is to be heard on 22nd April. When the matter is sub judice, then what was the hurry for the Enforcement Directorate to arrest Mr. Kejriwal when they themselves have admitted that he's not an accused, neither the party has been made an accused, he's been called in an individual capacity. And if he's a witness, then he is covered by the judgment of Honorable Supreme Court of India, which has been passed last year.
Let me also bring
There's no basis. There is no basis. This urgency exhibited by Mr. Modi's administration to apprehend Kejriwal at any cost indicates that Mr. Modi fears Kejriwal. He's the only leader who has been opposing the policies of central government, which is anti-people, which is anti-India.
That's a political charge. Let me ask Rukmini Singh, and I keep coming back to this, that one of the contentions that the opposition has made, and remember, Mr. Kejriwal becomes the second sitting chief minister to be arrested. Hemant Soren of Jharkhand, the Jharkhand chief minister, of course, he resigned just hours before he was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. But a sitting chief minister being arrested for a corruption case has happened very rarely. Very, very rarely. Even in the case of Lalu Prasad Yadav, who was arrested in the Fodder scam case, of course, he instilled his wife, Rabri Devi, to become the Chief Minister of Bihar while he was arrested. But for a sitting Chief Minister to be arrested is an extreme rarity in Indian politics, and that too, it is happening at the time of the Model Code, at the time of elections having been declared. But Rukmini Singh, will any of this make a material difference when Mr. Kejriwal's lawyers move the court? They've asked for an urgent midnight hearing by the Supreme Court. But will any of this have any kind of forbearance on the case itself? Because ultimately, like I said earlier, the merits of the case have been gone into while the bail of Mr. Sisodia, Mr. Sanjay Singh, etc. was being heard, and none of them are even being given bail. Ultimately, there has to be some meat to this case, some merit to this case, for even the Supreme Court to have denied bail to these individuals.
So the allegations are very serious, even if it's Hemant Soren or Arvind Kejriwal. If the allegations are serious, doesn't matter whether it's a CM or whoever it is, they will be arrested. They will be arrested for it, and if the situation calls for sending them to jail or whatever, they will be sent to jail. They cannot evade any crime like this. And even if it is, so Hemant Soren resigned, Arvind Kejriwal said he won't resign. He will. He has asked for hearing in the Supreme Court for tonight. That is the Supreme Court's discretion whether they will hear the case. However, there is serious merit in the case. That's why the bail of Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia has been rejected time and again. And the Delhi government, Kejriwal government, has betrayed the voters of Delhi. They have failed in their governance, and it's right out there.
Mr. Begala, the fact is, fine, the legal case, the merits and the demerits of the case will have to be decided in a court of law. Ultimately, a court of law has to come to the conclusion as to whether Mr. Kejriwal is guilty of corruption or not guilty of corruption. But in the public perception, in the public court, Mr. Bigala, and this is the way the BJP and the Prime Minister himself have framed it, that he is waging a war against corruption and all you guys are corrupt. And that is the public perception, that Modi ने भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ जंग लड़ाई है.
What if Arvind Kejriwal joins NDA? Let me ask you the same question, that what if he becomes if he joins part of NDA, will he become corrupt or will he become non-corrupt? Are there no corrupt politicians in the part of NDA, or even BJP there are no corrupt politicians? Why the investigation is not going on BJP leaders? Why on just the opposition leaders? How many inquiries are going on? How many investigations are going on the BJP leaders? That's the nation is asking the question to the Modi, that the Bhrashtachar ke liye, if you want to fight for a start from the BJP first before attacking the opposition leaders. This is nothing but politically motivated cases, and the timing, the way that frame the cases exactly right before the election to prove that all these opposition parties are corrupt. But the people will definitely teach the lesson in the coming election. They are looking at 370, but definitely it will be even difficult even to get the government into coming back to the party. That's how they're using everything. They're not leaving any stone unturned to come back into the power. So definitely, but they have to pay for the price in the coming election.
Susiben Shah, the point that Mr. Bigala made in the instance of Maharashtra, you accused the no less than one of the deputy chief ministers of being involved in the irrigation scam, and today he's a deputy chief minister just because he has split from the NCP and has joined your alliance. So this is the opposition's charge is BJP is some kind of a washing machine. उसके अंदर भ्रष्ट लोगों को डाल दो and they come out squeaky clean. Laundry clean हो जाएगी.
Now, I'll tell you this, as far as the Bhrashtachar is concerned, 300 crores found from a Congress MLA's residence. We had to get 2 tempos. There were 2 tempos called to just collect the money. SBI's money counting machine failed. So what are we talking about corrupt and non-corrupt, especially the opposition party? Look at TMC, crores of rupees from their office bearers and MLAs. So as far as corruption is concerned, I don't think any of the opposition party has the teeth to talk about it. As far as Shri Ajit Pawarji is concerned, there was an investigation launched. He was given a clean chit. It's only thereafter he joined the Mahayuti Sarkar. As far as Kejriwal ji is concerned and the current case is concerned, I think Mr. Kejriwal saw it coming, and it is he wanted to seek a political mileage. That is the reason he didn't move for anticipatory bail. He didn't appear 8 times before the ED. Now, if you challenge the wisdom of the court, if you challenge the... Let me complete, please. I didn't intervene when you were speaking. Let me complete what I have to say. If you don't follow the rule of law, you are here to challenge the wisdom of the Supreme Court, of the High Court and the ED. You are bound to pay the price. If you think that you are clean, you should have gone to the ED, said what you had to. I'm sure the ED would have listened to, would have given you a fair chance of a hearing. 8 times since November, whom are we trying to fool?
Okay, Anmol Pawar, the other problem that you have is now you have to decide on a chief minister. Now, politically you can say, okay, Mr. Kejriwal will continue to run Delhi from jail, but that's not what the people of Delhi voted for. They voted for a full-time chief minister. So, how are you going to fix that problem? Who's going to be the next chief minister?
We have made it very clear that the mandate given by the people of Delhi is for Mr. Kejriwal. He is the chief minister and he will remain the chief minister of Delhi. And But
how do you run a state from inside jail?
Because he's not a convict and there's no law which bars him from running the government from jail. There's no such precedent, no such law by either the Supreme Court or any of the precedents which says that a sitting CM cannot run the government from jail. He will continue to remain chief minister.
But in numerous instances where ministers of a cabinet or ministers of a council are arrested, in some instances the chief minister keeps the portfolio or assigns it to somebody else. I can't think of any instance where even a minister who's been arrested is running his portfolio, running his department from inside jail.
Exactly.
Zaka, the fact is that this arrest, which has been done by the Enforcement Directorate working at the behest of Bharatiya Janata Party, is evident. It is evident from the acts of Enforcement Directorate that they are making every effort to prevent Kejriwal from fighting the next elections and campaigning against the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Okay.
Every effort
Anuja
has
Kapoor,
been made,
you have taken Hemant Soren away from campaigning. You have taken Arvind Kejriwal away from campaigning. I mean, to be doing this after the election process has kicked in, all of them are tweeting. Rahul Gandhi is tweeting, Sharad Pawar is tweeting कि BJP और मोदी डर गए.
Why would Modi ji will, he will be scared of? He is already winning the mandate. So there is nothing that we would be looking into the opposition regarding the ED and CBI. Again, every time the same question has been asked. As I said, the said events with Vijay Nair and, there are many people, Sanjay Singh and this Manish Sisodia. And we talk about the people who have already been arrested. 15 persons have already been arrested and 245 locations has been searched. And I think you remember there were, Manish Sisodia, there were many phones which have been, he damaged them and the things have already been. So this is something which is very serious and it should be taken up in that manner only. And trying to bringing up a perception where Arvind Kejriwal said that even the investigation has started on someone, the person should resign from the post. So this is not our saying, it is the saying of the Arvind Kejriwal. And that is what he said, that we should resign from the post. And when you come clean or whatever the situation is, come and join back. Delhiites have voted for a non-corrupt Arvind Kejriwal. He was the one who was being given mandate. When he was given mandate, was he a corrupt Arvind Kejriwal, which he is now an accused? No. Was it? Because now he is. So I think he should resign from his post with dignity because this is what he should be doing because there are many approvers and many witnesses and there are many evidences which is against him. You are the AAP conveyor, national conveyor. You have to understand that you are Delhi CM under whose the Delhi new policy was being formulated and scrapped. Imagine, Zaka, are they serious on what laws are they talking about?
Okay, I believe Atishi, one of the ministers in the Delhi government is speaking. Can we see if we can play that out? Of course, Saurabh Bharadwaj and Atishi have been speaking to the press intermittently in the last 3-4 hours. Let's listen to what she's saying.
हम इस देश के संविधान की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं और हम इस देश के संविधान को बचाने के लिए लड़ाई लड़ते रहेंगे। लोकसभा चुनाव के जस्ट पहले चुनाव की घोषणा होने के बाद इस प्रकार से दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार करना सिर्फ एक चीज दिखाता है कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी अरविंद केजरीवाल जी से डरते हैं, वो लोकतंत्र को खत्म करना चाहते हैं, वो एक एक करके सभी विपक्ष के नेताओं को जेल में डालना चाहते हैं। ये क्या तरीका है? ये चुनाव जीतने का, लड़ने का, जीतने का क्या तरीका है? इस देश में क्या लोकतंत्र बचेगा अगर चुनाव से पहले आप विपक्ष के हर नेता को जेल में डाल दोगे, आप विपक्ष की हर पार्टी का बैंक अकाउंट फ्रीज कर दोगे? तो ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की एक राजनीतिक साजिश है।
All right, so that was Atishi, and this is a common thread that all the opposition parties of the India Alliance are alleging that this has been done on the eve of elections because the Narendra Modi government A is stifling opposition, it is killing the opposition, it is killing democracy, and B also that Mr. Modi's government is afraid that they will not get the majority or they will not get the majority in the kind of numbers that has been talked about, 370 and 400 and so on. Therefore, they are stifling the opposition to do this. This is of course the opposition's political charge, but ultimately whether Mr. Kejriwal is corrupt or not will have to be proved inside a court of law. So let's bring you up to speed with what's happening right now. The formal arrest has been recorded. The arrest memo has been presented to the accused. The signatures have been sought. After this, Mr. Kejriwal will be taken out of his residence. He will be moved to the ED headquarters. Overnight, Mr. Kejriwal will be kept in the ED headquarters where there will be further questioning. The ED officials will try and confront him with the evidence and the testimonies and the electronic evidence that they've had that was recovered from other accused who've been arrested in this case, including the likes of K. Kavita. After which, tomorrow at some point within 24 hours of the arrest being shown, Mr. Kejriwal will have to be produced in a court in Delhi. And if the court is convinced that the ED needs more time to question him, perhaps not just confront him with the evidence that they've recovered, but also confront him with other accused persons in this case. If the court gives the ED custody of Mr. Kejriwal, then Mr. Kejriwal will be spending his Holi, which happens to be one of the most important festivals here in the Hindi heartland. He will be spending Holi in a lockup or in custody of an investigating agency. But Anmol Pawar, the fact is, you can say whatever you want. India Alliance is saying this is murder of democracy, etc., etc. But we're not seeing that on the ground. On the ground, it doesn't seem like people are concerned, or that people are coming out to the streets, or that there is genuine sympathy for what is happening. Even when Hemant Soren was arrested, the popular perception seems to be that this is a war that Mr. Modi is waging against allegedly corrupt leaders of the opposition, and the public sentiment seems to be with Mr. Modi.
Zaka, the fact is that initially Bharatiya Janata Party used to say that Aurobindo Pharma, one of the company who was alleged as a kingpin in this so-called liquor scam, on November 2022, they purchased electoral bonds and donated it to Bharatiya Janata Party. After 3-4 months, they were granted bail. And immediately thereafter, Sarath Chandra Reddy, he turned into an approver. So this is the reality of this investigation scam. And as far as public is concerned, there are thousands of Aam Aadmi Party workers on the street, but the police is not allowing them to come near the residence of Honorable Delhi CM.
No.
There's a huge support. There's a huge support for Mr. Kejriwal.
That can't be an excuse for saying that, look, Delhiites are boiling over, or Delhiites are feeling completely let down tonight or angry tonight. That's not what we're seeing on the ground, Anmol Pawar.
Zaka,
and that can't be because there are a few barricades outside the Chief Minister's residence.
Zaka, more than 200 cases have been filed against Aam Aadmi Party leaders in the past 10 years. Several investigations, several raids have been conducted, but the Delhi people have always given mandate to Aam Aadmi Party. They have proved that the only party which is working for the progress and development of Delhi is Aam Aadmi Party. And that is why they have given us mandate in 2013, 2015, 2020 in Delhi and in Punjab as well.
So let me ask Anuja Kapoor to respond to that, because oftentimes the BJP says, you have a central government with 303 seats, you have 15 or 16 state governments. The Delhiites have voted for Aam Aadmi Party not once or twice but 3 times. And every time the majority has been pretty substantial. Even in this last assembly, they have more than 2/3 majority.
I would like to respond to the person of Aam Aadmi Party that then I could say the same thing for BJP. So BJP is there for 2014, 2019, 2024. Rajasthan is with me. Chhattisgarh is with me. So what are you guys doing? You just have a Punjab. So don't give us this thing around. You are nowhere being seen in 2019 also. So I don't know what you're talking and what you're saying, that in Delhi you are being saying, you have never become, you could not just, you are a national party on what? On 2 seats or something? So how do you figure out yourself? And like this, what you've done is the corruption. And this corruption is not, and you have taken up the 2,000 crore, the revenue of the Delhi has been lost. 700 crore of the taxpayer money has been taken up. This is the CAG report. So what is it that we are looking into? Did you ask the people when you were making this policy? So Arvind Kejriwal, always a U-turn person. Has he ever ever had a talk with the RWA people? He has opened up in the non-confirming. Haven't we seen during that COVID period? We were dying. We were dying at that time. And he was busy giving the tender to all those people who are at the wholesalers and making the profits. He was having a connect with K. Kavita. Are you serious? So what we are looking into is that it's not about Modi, sir. It is not about Modi. It is not about BJP. It is about Arvind Kejriwal. It is about that Aam Aadmi party. You brought a perception. You took away Congress seat. You took a slide out here in Delhi. What have you done with the votes? By showing us that they came back, they came back. What have you done with they came back? What have you done with the voters' trust?
Okay,
So
we got to leave it at that. I want to
by
thank
today-
our guests. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one final break, and then when we come back, we'll go back to, all right, Somnath Bharti, who also happens to be, he's an MLA, he's also one of the candidates for the Aam Aadmi Party from the Delhi seat in the upcoming Lok Sabha election. Let's listen in to him, and then we'll take a break right after that, yeah.
देखिए, जो कुछ भी देश में हो रहा है उससे एक बात तो सिद्ध हो रहा है कि देश का लोकतंत्र खतरे में है, देश का संविधान खतरे में है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया एक चीज होती है, ये चीज की ड्यूटी है कि हम इलेक्शन को फ्री एंड फेयर करवाएं, लेकिन इलेक्शन कमीशन जो है इस वक्त चुनाव आयोग नहीं है, वो मोदी आयोग है, क्योंकि जो सिलेक्शन कमेटी था उसमें 3 आदमी और 2 आदमी तो यही हैं, तो जो कुछ भी ये कहेगा वो तोते की तरह उसका पालन करेगा। इलेक्शन कमीशन अगर फ्री एंड फेयर सिलेक्शन कराना चाहता है तो उसकी ड्यूटी है कि वो इंश्योर करे कि पॉलिटिकल अपोनेंट्स के लीडर्स को अरेस्ट ना किया जाए, इस प्रकार से हरास ना किया जाए, उनके बैंक अकाउंट्स को फ्रीज ना किया जाए। हो क्या रहा है, जब अगर आप बैंक अकाउंट्स फ्रीज कर देंगे, लीडर्स को अरेस्ट कर लेंगे, तो इलेक्शन कहाँ होगा, क्या फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन होगा? तो मुझे लग रहा है इस वक्त हम सबको मिलके पूरा हिंदुस्तान को आगे आना पड़ेगा और इंश्योर करना पड़ेगा कि भाई अगर देश बचाना है, अगर संविधान बचाना है, तो हम सब एक साथ होकर के इस डिक्टेटरशिप के खिलाफ खड़े हों, नहीं तो देश बचने वाला नहीं है। हम लोग मूव कर चुके हैं, अर्जेंट हियरिंग की डिमांड कर रहे हैं, अर्जेंट हियरिंग
Us through what is the case that the ED has built against Mr. Kejriwal, because up until recently he was not even mentioned as an accused in the various charge sheets that have been filed in this case so far.
Well, definitely, he though has not been made an accused in this particular case so far, but he had been, asked to come for questioning for last 9 summons. He has skipped all of them, created a ground for, in fact, non-cooperation, which is a clear ground under Section 19 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is the power to arrest of the Enforcement Directorate. You can see visuals right behind me. These are from the Chief Minister's residence. But what is very, very clear, the allegations, Zaka against Arvind Kejriwal, number one, being that he had met Miss K. Kavita and in fact had demanded her of 100 crore of this 100 crore, 50 crore were being arranged by YSRCP MP Manguta Reddy. She had asked him to do so, and the other half was being arranged by in fact her own team. Not only that, he was a part of those meetings that had taken place while the particular policy, the flouty policy, was actually being drafted. His residence was the place where these meetings had taken place. These are statements of none other than C. Arvind, who is the former secretary of the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. In fact, a note was also handed over to him.
And ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the Liquorgate saga as Arvind Kejriwal has been taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, he has skipped 9 summons, which has led to the showdown over the Liquorgate scandal. Thank you for joining me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. As we continue to track all the developments which are coming in, those visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, are from outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Now, the police teams as well as Enforcement Directorate teams are inside Arvind Kejriwal's residence, and he is set to exit his residence and head to the ED office anytime soon. Meanwhile, those visuals on the right side of your screen, you can also see that how the Aam Aadmi Party workers are hitting out at the central government, accusing it of vendetta vendetta politics, saying that this entire case is a sham when it comes to taking action in the Liquorgate scandal. Arvind Kejriwal facing the heat of the Liquorgate scandal. Now, this is the biggest arrest ever since this entire scandal came to light. That is the piece of news that's coming in. We are just waiting to see when will Arvind Kejriwal exit his residence and go to the ED office. And I'm joined by my colleague Arunima on the broadcast, who's reporting from outside the ED office to get the latest when it comes to the investigation. Arunima, what more can you get for us? By how much time do we expect Arvind Kejriwal to exit his residence and head to the ED office?
So while I'm speaking to you, Vijay Narendra is showing you visuals of senior officers from the local police, from the Delhi police, DCP rank officers who have now reached the Enforcement Directorate office. Arvind Kejriwal will be brought here shortly, but before that, there is complete police bandobast that is being checked, and those are the visuals on your screen there. DCP rank officials along with their other associates, just taking a feel of what's required here on the ground. And the reason this kind of check is required is because there is a lot of concern whether the Aam Aadmi Party Karyakartas will lose their sense of calm, lose their sense of logic, and do something which will create a law and order issue. To avoid that, we've already seen steps that are being taken at Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Some detentions have happened, and to avoid any repeat of that situation outside the ED office, the senior officers are and Narendra, if you can zoom in towards the other end of this lane also, there are barricades that have been put up, and police, the senior officials are just patrolling that entire area to ensure that there is no loophole and no problem as and when the Delhi Chief Minister is brought in. On our right is the Enforcement Directorate office. That is where Arvind Kejriwal will be brought in. In that lockup, he'll spend the night, and then tomorrow, because he's been arrested, post evening, ED has 24 hours time before they have to produce him at the Rouse Avenue court. They will want to ensure that his medical examination is also carried out here. Arvind Kejriwal in the past has had health issues. If you recall, even when during the Anna Hazare agitation and post that, there were health issues, so they want to ensure that any allegation is made against the ED's probe team of playing with the health of the incumbent Chief Minister of Delhi. So they will ensure medical examination in this building on my left here. And post that, tomorrow morning, I think there will be a production in court. It's only after the court grants them custody will the real questioning begin of Arvind Kejriwal. Possible confrontation with other accused also, including K. Kavita, who's already in ED custody till the 23rd of this month.
Right. So that's the latest when it comes to the developments outside the ED office. Let's head back to the scene outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Remember, he is still inside his residence as the ED conducted its raid as well as the searches at his residence. And now I'm joined by my colleagues Anshul as well as Ananya on the broadcast, who have been tracking all the developments coming in as the Enforcement Directorate took the custody of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The biggest arrest in the Liquorgate scandal, ladies and gentlemen. Ananya, what is the latest from outside the Chief Minister's residence? Have the Aam Aadmi workers been moved out by the Delhi police? And at the same time, in how much time can we expect the Delhi Chief Minister to exit his residence?
Well, you saw high drama unfolding at the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. You can see visuals right behind me also. Protests still continue, and in fact various opposition leaders, whether we talk of Arvinder Singh Lavli or we talk of Sandeep Dixit, all are here. But what is very, very clear and categorical, Ayushman, at this point of time is that another battle is being fought, a battle to get an urgent hearing before the Supreme Court. And what we've been told by our sources in the Aam Aadmi Party legal team is very, very clearly that they have moved a request to the registrar there at the Supreme Court for an urgent hearing. But whether or not that is allowed, whether that reaches the Chief Justice of India, all these questions would be answered only after it can actually clear out the air as to whether or not these people would be able to secure an urgent hearing before the Supreme Court or not. But what we have to understand at this point of time is that 9 summons being skipped, and under PMLA, each summon skipped is like a digging up your own grave. Not only that, the Delhi High Court also clearly saying that no kind of no coercive action can be granted to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and that happened only after the court saw the material that the Enforcement Directorate had. If you remember, in the afternoon when the hearing had begun at around 12 AM, the court asked the Enforcement Directorate to come back post-lunch, show it the material that it has against Arvind Kejriwal, and then it will make a decision as to whether or not interim relief shall be granted to Mr. Kejriwal or not in this particular case. And very clearly and categorically, later, the Enforcement Directorate, in fact, got a favourable order from the High Court and a sit-back coming in for the Delhi Chief Minister. Hours after that, ED teams reached Kejriwal's residence and he is now arrested in this particular case. The key acquisitions against him remain to be that he had asked Ms. K. Kavita to actually arrange for 100 crore rupees. He is the one who called Vijay Nair his own boy, who was one of the main conspirators in this particular case. And time and again, the Enforcement Directorate has been saying that this man is somebody who is one of the masterminds of this whole Delhi Liquorgate saga.
Absolutely. This is the biggest arrest in the Liquorgate scandal, Ananya. I'm also joined by my colleague Anshul, who's reporting from outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence as well. Anshul, when it comes to the support for Arvind Kejriwal, a lot of the India Alliance leaders are tweeting away to glory, saying that this is a witch hunt against the opposition. We also saw other leaders of the Congress party in the national capital also coming out, showing their support to the Delhi Chief Minister. This has become quite a cementing issue, if you will, for the India Alliance. What is the situation outside the residence? Are the crowds only getting bigger as everyone is waiting for Arvind Kejriwal to exit the residence?
Yes, as ordered by the Delhi police, the situation on the ground is absolutely under control at this point of time. The support is taken away.
Right, we'll try to reconnect with Anshul over there. The audio is, we have a bad line with them, but those visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Anytime now, Arvind Kejriwal could exit his residence where he will be taken by the Enforcement Directorate team to the ED office, where my colleague Arunima is reporting. As Ananya was pointing out, remember, 9 summons have been skipped by Arvind Kejriwal, who has said that this is completely a case of political vendetta on the road to the Lok Sabha elections, even saying that the BJP is spooked of the Aam Aadmi Party. And those visuals on your screen, on the left hand side, the Delhi police cover right outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. He can exit any time now and head to the Enforcement Directorate office. This is the biggest arrest in the Liquorgate scandal. And on the right side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the Aam Aadmi Party workers continuing to show support for the Supremo of the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that this is complete political vendetta against the Aam Aadmi Party on the road to the Lok Sabha elections. My colleague Ananya continues to be with us on the broadcast. He's reporting from outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Ananya, you were pointing out that when it comes to the PMLA, each summons that is skipped is a huge detriment when it comes to making a case against the charges, against the serious charges under PMLA, in this case the Liquorgate scandal. Elaborate that for us, because Arvind Kejriwal continued to maintain, along with other Aam Aadmi Party leaders, that this was a complete witch hunt, that these charges were motivated. But by skipping each summon, how was Arvind Kejriwal making his case even worse?
Well, definitely. But first of all, Ayushman, for the benefit of our viewers, you can see this is the diary number which has been filed by Arvind Kejriwal. This is 13958. If you should see very clearly and categorically, I asked Mr. Camera person Arpit Seth to show you this visual. This is the petition that is now actually listed before on the Supreme Court website, though the status still shows pending. So whether or not that urgent hearing at night would happen is something that will still sustains, but the petition definitely has now been filed. It's very, very clear. It's now showing up in the case status of the Supreme Court as well. But coming back to the case itself, 9 summons skipped. The Delhi High Court, after perusing the material, the case file that's been presented by the ED in a post-lunch session hearing, very clearly and categorically saying that no, sorry, we can't give you any kind of an interim relief. And not that only. Remember the previous proceedings before the Rouse Avenue Court, the proceedings before the ACMM, where he had already faced 2 complaints for skipping the summons. First for skipping the first 5 summons, and the next one for skipping the next 3 summons. And very clearly and categorically he had to secure a bail in that particular case registered under section 174 of, in fact, the Indian Penal Code, which is with regards to a public servant not obeying the law, disobeying the law, and he could have faced imprisonment. However, that was a bailable offence, and very clearly and categorically Mr. Arvind Kejriwal now arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. The main charge being that you were one of the key conspirators of this whole liquor policy. Various meetings have taken place at his residence. Statements of C. Arvind, former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia's personal secretary. Statements of
Ananya, I'm sorry to interrupt. We just need to take one quick break, ladies and gentlemen, because any time from now, Arvind Kejriwal could be exiting his residence and be taken to the Enforcement Directorate office. We're going to track all the developments coming in. For now, a quick break. More news and updates on the other side.
Was the draft policy which was also available with the South lobby, which had paid kickbacks in order to receive a favourable liquor policy in the national capital. Another big charge against Arvind Kejriwal is that he had welcomed Mr. Manguta Reddy's son Raghav Manguta's entry into the Delhi liquor business and his company in the Delhi liquor business. Not only that, Vijay Nair is what he had so told Mr. Samir Mahindru on a FaceTime call. These are the allegations against him. Various people have given out statements against, in fact, the Delhi Chief Minister. He had been asked by the Enforcement Directorate since the last year to come and appear before it, but very clearly and categorically denying all those 9 summons. He had been creating a ground for, in fact, non-cooperation. And as you know, Zaka, we were discussing earlier as well, from the very beginning, each summons skipped in a case under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act is like digging up your own grave, taking the fate to your own hands. And finally, you can see Arvind Kejriwal being arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in this case.
We have a whole bunch of guests from BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, other opposition parties, lawyers, etc., who are joining us in just a moment. But I also want to quickly go across to Anshul, who is joining us from outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence. What is the political...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the drama on your screens right there. Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi Chief Minister, has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in the Liquorgate scandal. This is the biggest arrest, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the entire Liquorgate saga. After Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh and K. Kavita, now the Chief Minister of Delhi, the man who runs the ship of the Aam Aadmi Party, is now in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate. Those visuals on the left side of your screen are from outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. He is set to exit his residence anytime soon along with the ED team, and he will be taken to the Enforcement Directorate office. Now, at the same time, several top leaders of not just the Aam Aadmi Party but even the Congress Party are outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence in solidarity with the Chief Minister of Delhi, calling this a witch hunt, vendetta politics on the road to the Lok Sabha elections. To get the latest from outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence, where all this drama is unfolding, I'm joined by my colleague Anshul Singh on the broadcast. Anshul, over to you.
So yes, if that question was to me, you can see in the visuals there is movement that has started happening over here outside the residence of the Delhi Chief Minister. Several vehicles of the Delhi police is already moving towards the exit. So in all likelihood, we are expecting that this is the cavalcade in which the Delhi Chief Minister would be taken away. The gates are wide open now. 4 to 5 vehicles of the Delhi police. So the Delhi Chief Minister is being taken out. The visuals that you are seeing on your screens right now, the Chief Minister is finally being taken out. The first vehicle is of the police pilot vehicle that has been taken away. The second vehicle is of the ED officials, and now one by one, the entire cavalcade has moved out. The Chief Minister has been taken away from state towards the Enforcement Directorate office. So yes, the ED cavalcade has now moved out from outside the residence of the Chief Minister's office and straight will head towards the ED office. You can see the security personnel that were over here. They are also returning back. The Delhi police, the CRPF that were deployed over here, all of them have been taken back. Few people have started sloganing over here, but yes, the Delhi police has managed to make sure that people are taken out. The Chief Minister is taken out from here with safety. Finally, the Delhi Chief Minister has been taken out. He has now officially been taken to the Enforcement Directorate office. What sources are now telling us that for tomorrow as well, we are expecting that the Chief Minister would not be taken to the Rouse Avenue court. He, in all likelihood, would be presented in front of the court. Virtually is what sources are confirming to us at this point in time, because this is the situation that could happen even after the manner in which the Delhi police was trying to secure the entire area. Protesters have managed to reach over here. Sloganeering has started and the Chief Minister has been taken away from here. We are expecting that within the next 10 minutes the Chief Minister will reach the Enforcement Directorate office, where he would be kept in the lockup, and tomorrow, once he is presented in front of the courts, the Enforcement Directorate is going to ask for an extended custody. Once that custody is given, he would be confronted with the other accused in the matter, and also he would be confronted with the evidences that the Delhi police has been able to, evidences that the Enforcement Directorate, I beg your pardon, has been able to gather of Arvind Kejriwal over the last 2 years of investigation. So yes, more trouble for Delhi Chief Minister. More the situation over here is also slowly getting out of hand. The people are being forced to move away from here. Police trying to shoo away the people, the protesters who had gathered over here. You can see they are now sitting on the roads. The sloganeering is continuing, but yes, the Chief Minister is finally has been taken away from his residence now. The area is now being cleared and now is being opened for traffic. The police is trying to make sure that the area could be opened for traffic now. But yes, the manner in which this entire incident has happened, the turn of events that we have seen happening over the last 2.5 hours has definitely been a surprise for a lot of people. In fact, for the Aam Aadmi Party itself, because they were not expecting that the Enforcement Directorate would jump into action so very quickly and with such prominence that they would reach the residence of the Chief Minister, arrest him and then take him away. Remember, not only the Chief Minister has been arrested, but what sources have confirmed to us that at least 4 to 5 mobile phones along with 2 tablets belonging to the Chief Minister and his family has been also taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate. So yes, definitely a big, massive coercive action taken by the Enforcement Directorate against the Delhi Chief Minister. How will things eventually pan out tomorrow in front of the Rouse Avenue court, that is something that remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, that in all likelihood, the Delhi Chief Minister would not be taken physically to the court. He would be presented virtually, is what sources are indicating at this point in time. It depends on how the law and order situation remains tomorrow morning, because remember, the Rouse Avenue court is very, very close to the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters, and taking the Delhi Chief Minister from that route to the Rouse Avenue court is going to be a very, very troublesome task, and that is the reason why the sources are saying that they will look as to what can be done tomorrow morning. But yes, in all likelihood, he would be presented virtually in front of the court, where the Enforcement Directorate is going to ask for an extended custody of the Delhi Chief Minister. Remember, K. Kavita is already under the custody of the Enforcement Directorate, and she is also very much inside the ED office itself, and she is supposed to be presented before the Rouse Avenue court on the 23rd of March, that is day after tomorrow. So yes, both K. Kavita and Arvind Kejriwal will be inside the Enforcement Directorate office. What is also very, very pertinent to note is the manner in which the investigation went ahead, and the Delhi Chief Minister was summoned for the 9th time today itself, because the statements that have been given by the close aides of K. Kavita, in which they have narrated as to how the Delhi Chief Minister himself asked for a kickback of rupees 100 crores, out of which 50 crores was given to him in cash, and then eventually another 30 crores was also given to the Aam Aadmi Party. So these are the very serious allegations that have been put forth against him. The Enforcement Directorate is very, very confident. In fact, the sources have confirmed to us is that they have ample amount of proof which could eventually make sure that the Delhi Chief Minister is convicted with this stricter of punishment, because he was somewhere or the other the kingpin of this entire alleged liquor policy scam that happened out here in the national capital. What will happen tomorrow, that is something that remains to be seen. But yes, the manner in which the things have unfolded, the events have turned over the last 2 hours has definitely come as a massive, massive surprise for the Aam Aadmi Party as well as for its supporters.
Absolutely, and in just the next 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, Arvind Kejriwal will reach the ED office, which is just about 15 minutes from his residence. And I'm joined by my colleague Arunima, who's reporting from outside the ED office, where the roads have been cleared so that there is no security situation given the movement of the Chief Minister and the ED team. Arunima, what's the latest?
What is the latest? Narendra is showing you all the halchal behind me. All the police brass here have been put on high alert. They're expecting Arvind Kejriwal and the cavalcade, which is leading him. About 12 officials from Enforcement Directorate initially went to his residence. Soon they were supplemented by others, and now all of them are expected to reach the AD office shortly. So the media has been asked to stay on just one side here towards the main gate of the Enforcement Directorate. The road has been sealed. Nobody can go beyond this point. I think this particular barricade will be moved only once Arvind Kejriwal's vehicle is brought in. And there at the gate, once again, Narendra, if you can pan towards the gate, you can see more security personnel in waiting right at the gate of the Enforcement Directorate. Kejriwal is expected, the vehicle carrying him is expected to move inside that gate in about 10 to 12 minutes from now. It's a long distance from Kejriwal's residence to the ED office here, but a green corridor has been created. Each district which comes in that entire route, the DCPs have been put on high alert. The New Delhi district DCP himself is here at ground zero, and they are ensuring that the main road leading up to the Enforcement Directorate has been cleared. All vehicles, including our own and media broadcast vans, other vans, they were asked to just move out to create the corridor. Aam Aadmi Party karyakartas, to prevent them on both sides of the main road also, barricades have been put out. So in the next 10 to 12 minutes, we are told, just before midnight, they don't want things to reach a stage where halla gulla continues beyond midnight. So in the next 12 minutes or so, they are expecting Arvind Kejriwal and the cavalcade carrying him to reach here. A repeat of when we saw Sanjay Singh being brought to the ED headquarters after his arrest. At that point, Sanjay Singh had smiled and said ki arrest galat hai. Let's see if Arvind Kejriwal also gets a chance to roll down the windows and say anything. His party has contended, he has contended that this is political vendetta, but ahead of the festival of Holi, Arvind Kejriwal being brought to the Enforcement Directorate headquarters, where K. Kavita is already in custody in the liquor policy scam. So two big politicians now will be in ED's custody. ED will produce Arvind Kejriwal in the Rouse Avenue court tomorrow and seek custody. Okay, now there's more movement. Looks like the cavalcade have started moving. Let's try and get you a sense of what is happening here. There are some vehicular movements here. Okay, not yet of the cavalcade carrying Arvind Kejriwal. But yes, patrolling vehicles of Delhi police are coming in once again to sanitize that route, to ensure that there is no problem on that route. These are Delhi Police's Prakhar vehicle sanitizing that route, which Arvind Kejriwal's cavalcade will ultimately take. So a lot of anticipation for the media here at the ED headquarters and for the policemen deployed. You're seeing, messages coming in on their personal devices, messages to tell them what really is happening. So they're on their walkie-talkies. They're taking in messages from the other police officers deployed on the route and sanitizing this entire area. That's the scene, that's the feel of what it is like at the Enforcement Directorate headquarters here in New Delhi.
Right, and Arunima, as Arvind Kejriwal goes into the ED office in the next 10 minutes, will the Aam Aadmi Party workers, many of whom have been protesting outside his residence, are they likely to be allowed to stay outside the ED office, or is there no chance that the police will allow any congregations anywhere near the ED office as Arvind Kejriwal is inside?
Well, I would stick my neck out and say that there's no chance at all, because the Delhi police has done a very strong bandobast. This is the main gate. Once again, to give you a sense, this is the main gate of the Enforcement Directorate. There's another gate on the other side from the masjid side of 30 January Marg. If they attempt to come in from that side, there is police bandobast on that gate also. At the far end of this particular stretch of the road too, you can see two policemen from the paramilitary deployed, other plainclothes men also also keeping an eye. So nobody can come through that back gate. Here on my right, there is the Israel embassy side. There's another gate from here. That stretch itself, there's a huge banner which says Section 144 has been imposed. So nobody can come in. So that has been packed completely. There's just one route from where I just showed you the Delhi Police Prakhar vehicle patrolling. So just one route has been kept open, and that's the only route. And even there at the main gate, there's heavy police bandobast. The DCP rank officials are keeping an eye. So there's no way that any Aam Aadmi Party karyakarta is going to be allowed by the Delhi police to come here. They do not want, even when earlier Arvind Kejriwal was sent summons, he has evaded 9 summons before he was finally taken into custody. So even when previously summons used to go to him, Delhi police would ensure that this entire area was completely sanitized. Today when Kejriwal has been arrested, the sitting Chief Minister of Delhi has been arrested. There's no way that Delhi police is going to let this situation get out of hand and create a situation where any kind of chaos, any kind of law and order situation is created. Okay, the Delhi police personnel asking me to get out of this green zone, which means they now have a message. Narendra, if you come back, these are messages being given by the Delhi police officials here that they have got intimation Arvind Kejriwal should be here any moment, and that's why we are being asked to just stay away. This is the line, the human barricade that has been created. We are being asked to stay away. No way that Aam Aadmi Party karyakartas will be allowed in.
Absolutely. Any moment now, Arvind Kejriwal will arrive at the ED office. Arunima there tracking all the developments, as there is a very strict bandobast being put in place by the Delhi police over there at the ED office. Arunima, thank you for joining us. Please continue to track all the developments on the ground. We'll keep coming back to you for the latest when it comes to Arvind Kejriwal's custody by the Enforcement Directorate. But we're also getting a reaction now by Delhi Minister Saurabh Bharadwaj, who continues to lambast the centre, ladies and gentlemen, calling it vendetta politics at play, where Arvind Kejriwal has been arrested in the Liquorgate scandal. This is the biggest arrest ever since this scandal came to light.
अभी ईडी की कई सारी गाड़ियों के अंदर मुख्यमंत्री जी को ले जाया गया। सीधी मंशा ईडी की मुख्यमंत्री जी को अरेस्ट करने की ही थी। कोई पूछताछ नहीं थी, कोई प्रश्न नहीं था, सब कोर्ट के अंदर नाटक किया जा रहा था। मुख्यमंत्री जी के घर की पूरी तलाशी इस छापे में ली गई। सिर्फ 70,000 रुपए नकद मिले, जो कि ईडी वापस लौटा के चली गई। मुख्यमंत्री जी का मोबाइल लिया गया और मुख्यमंत्री जी को गिरफ्तार करके ले गए हैं। पूरे छापे में कोई सबूत, कोई एविडेंस, कोई प्रॉपर्टी का कागज, कोई गैर कानूनी पैसा, कोई मनी ट्रेल नहीं मिली। बात बिल्कुल साफ है। अगर अपोजिशन के अंदर प्रधानमंत्री जी किसी से डरते हैं और उनको लगता है कि उनका कोई विकल्प है भारत में, तो वो अरविंद केजरीवाल है। और मैं दोबारा यही बात कहूंगा कि वो अरविंद केजरीवाल को गिरफ्तार कर सकते थे, उन्होंने किया, क्योंकि आज उनके पास सत्ता है, आज उनके पास सारी की सारी एजेंसियां हैं, उनको रोकने वाला कोई नहीं है। जो चाहे प्रधानमंत्री करें। अभी तक 2 मुख्यमंत्रियों को गिरफ्तार किया है, हो सकता है औरों को भी कर लें। मगर अरविंद केजरीवाल की सोच, अरविंद केजरीवाल एक आइडिया है जो हर गली, हर मोहल्ले में अब तैयार हो रहा है। हमारे वकील शाम को सुप्रीम कोर्ट की रजिस्ट्री में उन्होंने अपनी पिटीशन दायर की, इस अरेस्ट को चैलेंज किया कि ये गैर कानूनी है, गैर संवैधानिक है। कोर्ट की रजिस्ट्री ने कहा कि उन्होंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट के मुख्य न्यायाधीश को ये मैसेज दे दिया है, मगर कोई जवाब नहीं मिला। तो हमारे वकील सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रजिस्ट्रार साहब से मिलने गए हैं, उनसे बातचीत करेंगे और हमारा सुप्रीम कोर्ट से करबद्ध निवेदन है, हाथ जोड़ के निवेदन है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट रात को ही मुख्यमंत्री जी की जो याचिका हमने दायर की है उसको सुने और दिल्ली को, देश को और हमें न्याय दे।
आगे सरकार कैसे चलेगी, क्योंकि अब इन्फेक्शस हो चुकी है, आपकी याचिका है जो गिरफ्तारी हो चुकी है।
2 पिटीशन थे, ये गलत खबर चलाई जा रही है कि इन्फ्रक्चुअस हो गई है। नहीं, हमारी 2 अलग अलग प्रेयर थी कि मुख्यमंत्री जी की गिरफ्तारी इमिनेंट है, होने वाली है, लिहाजा उसको रोका जाए, और यदि इस दौरान गिरफ्तारी हो जाती है तो उस गिरफ्तारी के ऊपर भी कोर्ट रोक लगाए, तो वो इन्फ्रक्चुअस नहीं है। दूसरी बात, सरकार, हम लोगों ने सारे विधायकों से सलाह की, सारे काउंसलर से सलाह की, दिल्ली के एक एक वार्ड के अंदर हमने सभा की। सबका कहना था कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का मैंडेट है, दिल्ली की जनता चाहती है अरविंद केजरीवाल सरकार चलाएं, तो अरविंद केजरीवाल ही सरकार चलाएंगे। जेल के अंदर से भी अरविंद केजरीवाल जी हमारे मुख्यमंत्री हैं, दिल्ली के नेता हैं।
Right, so Saurabh Bharadwaj, they're very confident that Arvind Kejriwal will be able to run the Delhi government from behind bars, from ED custody. A very kind of like optimistic tone coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party, as this is the biggest arrest in the Liquorgate scandal, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get to our guests. We're joined by Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, Ashish Dikshit, lawyer, as well as Tushar Gupta, senior journalist, joining us on the broadcast. Mahima Singh, I'll come to you first. Top Congress leaders in the national capital coming there to show solidarity with Arvind Kejriwal. The same Aam Aadmi Party jailing your leaders in the state of Punjab on corruption charges, and now you're standing shoulder to shoulder with someone who's been called the kingpin of the Liquorgate scandal. How do you see that? Isn't that a gross kind of hypocrisy in your political messaging?
Jain, this is an orchestrated sabotage of the democracy at the behest of the BJP, at the behest of very scared and petrified BJP today. The BJP is utterly nervous, Ayushman. That is very clear. Anybody and everybody can see that with the SBI electoral bonds data coming out today and shocking revelations being made. The BJP has actually come out and said, we have not maintained our records. We don't have any money trail there. But they will go on arresting CM after CM. MPs will be suspended. These are public representatives. It is not one chief minister that they arrest when they do, or it is not merely one member of the parliament that they suspend when they do. This is millions of Indian voices that are being insulted by the BJP on the floor of the parliament. In the state of Delhi, in Jharkhand, we saw the arrest of Hemant Soren. So the BJP has lost its mental balance.
No, but Mahima Singh, because you yourself are a lawyer, I just wanted to make this point clear. Are you saying that these arrests, like from Sanjay Singh to Manish Sisodia to now even Arvind Kejriwal, have no legal backing? These are completely illegal. Is that your position?
Ayushman, I want to ask, what happened to the probes against Ajit Pawar? What happened to the probe against Suvendu Adhikari, Narayan Rane, Himanta Biswa Sarma?
I don't think they've been given a clean check, but my point is... No, my question is this illegal what is happening? My big question to you is, you're a lawyer, you're a responsible person to make legally valid statements. Is what is happening to these top Aam Aadmi Party leaders illegal?
I am asking you, does this appear normal to you? Whether legal or illegal? No. Hold on, Ayushman. Whether legal or illegal, all the opposition leaders being arrested and a strong public representative being arrested right ahead of the elections. Does this look normal to you? Are we not headed the Germany way? Are we not headed the Russia-China way?
But does it matter if it's legally valid? Are you telling us that the same way extrajudicial
the laws must apply to all.
I'm talking about extrajudicial arrests.
Equally.
I'm talking about extrajudicial arrests take place in China and Russia. Are you comparing what's happening over here to China and Russia? Given the fact that courts have denied bail to Sanjay Singh, Manish Sisodia, and the Aam Aadmi Party has arrested your very leaders at the end of the day in the state of Punjab. I ask you once again, one simple yes or no question, is what is happening to Arvind Kejriwal and the top Aam Aadmi Party leadership illegal?
Ayushman, the Supreme Court has agreed to hear this case at 11:45 tonight. We will know whether it is illegal or not. Let's wait for the hearing. Let's see what the Supreme Court says.
Yeah, but so far you've heard what the trial court said, what the High Court said, what other courts have also said. They haven't rubbished the charges. So I think you should make the responsible statement saying that any action that is taking place in this case, there is judicial backing for that. Tushar Gupta, it's been a long time since we've chatted on a debate. Please go ahead. What did you have to say?
Ayushman, firstly, the constitutionality of the arrest has to be decided by the courts, not by any party spokesperson, be it the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress Party. Ironically, the Congress spokesperson seems to be forgetting that the party that registered the first
Tushar, I'm very sorry. I beg your pardon. We're getting a big development coming in when it comes to the Supreme Court hearing. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party had moved the Supreme Court, and now what we are learning is that there will be no hearing tonight. And my colleague Ananya is getting us the latest on that. Ananya, over to you.
Well, my sources tell me very, very clearly, the legal sources in the Aam Aadmi Party very clearly and categorically confirm that no urgent hearing has been granted by the Supreme Court for tonight at least. The urgent hearing would be granted tomorrow is what we have been told, though the timing of it has not been confirmed yet. And in fact, the case status of the Supreme Court website very, very clearly still shows the petition as pending. So the timing is not yet confirmed, though urgent hearing as told by lawyers is something that we'll have to recheck in the morning tomorrow because, sometimes there are more urgent matters that the Supreme Court has to take. But whether or not the CM's fate would be decided by the Supreme Court, whether the Enforcement Directorate would come out with a strong case before the Supreme Court or not, and another legal battle that is to take place before the Rouse Avenue Court tomorrow.
Right, so the latest that's coming in is that top sources are telling us the Supreme Court will not hear this case tonight. And those visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, we're cutting to the ED office where Arvind Kejriwal has arrived. He's been taken into ED custody just about a half an hour back. Almost an hour back, in fact, he's been taken into ED custody after being grilled for 2 hours by the Enforcement Directorate. My colleague Arunima is reporting live from outside the ED office. Arunima, over to you.
I can't hear you very clearly, Ayushman. There's a lot of chaos here, but if you can hear me, Arvind Kejriwal or the cavalcade carrying Arvind Kejriwal has just, come to the Enforcement Directorate office. A vehicle just passed through, and it was a kind of a very fast movement that was ensured, and he was taken inside. Senior officers of the Delhi police also were here just shortly before that vehicle came in, and now here you see the deployment still. There are ACP rank officer, DCP rank officer, the special CP law and order, Madhuk Tiwari himself, who is ensuring that everything goes without any problem. The Aam Aadmi Party Karyakartas who created such a scene outside Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal's residence, they were given a miss, and in no time the vehicle carrying the Chief Minister was brought inside the ED office. He has been taken inside. There are more vehicles coming in. These are vehicles carrying senior Government of India officials going into the ED office. Yes, these are the ED officials who were earlier, at the CM residence questioning. Now the vehicles are bringing them in also. So the ED team, which was questioning Arvind Kejriwal, they are also now coming back. There are more vehicles here. Okay, Delhi police is escorting. More officials are being brought in. Delhi police vehicles one by one are coming in. The entire cavalcade is coming back to the Enforcement Directorate office, and you can see how these cavalcades are being pushed in. There was a lot of worry, a lot of concern that Aam Aadmi Party Karyakartas will create a scene, but Delhi police has managed to create a situation whereby the entire movement of the cavalcade happens without any problem. Other than these Delhi police vehicles carrying senior ED officials, carrying Delhi police officials, there's also a police van behind this that Narendra perhaps is showing you. There's a huge Delhi police van carrying in more reinforcement. So that vehicle has followed Arvind Kejriwal's cavalcade, and he has finally been brought to the ED office. He will be taken inside now for his medical examination. The medical examination will be carried in the ED office itself, and then he will be questioned by the IO overnight. Perhaps not much time will be spent. It's already close to midnight. Overnight, perhaps not much time will be spent in questioning him. But early morning, he will be taken for another round of medical examination before he's produced in the Rouse Avenue court. So that's the sequence of events from here on. Arvind Kejriwal overnight will be here at the Enforcement Directorate office. This is where he will be overnight. He has been brought to the ED headquarters, and now all the procedure that I just narrated will begin.
Absolutely. So those visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the man who 10 years back was leading the fight against corruption along with Anna Hazare against the Congress party. Now he is in alliance with the Congress party and at the same time has been accused of corruption in the Delhi Liquorgate scandal. Let's go back to our guests, ladies and gentlemen, as Arvind Kejriwal arrives at the ED office in the national capital after being taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate. Mahima Singh, Syed Asad Abbas, Ashish Dikshit and Tushar Gupta continue to be with us on the broadcast. Tushar, I was sorry to interrupt. We were getting all those updates, which were coming in when it comes to this case. Please continue what you were saying.
Ayushman, I'm worried. I'm a little worried. There seems to be a pandemic outside on social media. It seems everyone in the Congress party is having a collective memory failure. Between 2022 and 2023, everyone in the Congress, especially in the Delhi Congress, were asking for a probe into the excise policy scam. Arvinder Lovely Singh, who was the first one to reach the CM residence, was in fact saying that we support all sorts of investigations. Sandeep Dikshit also over there around the CM residence was saying that I'm surprised there have not been 10 CBI raids because there is a scam everywhere in the Aam Aadmi Party government. Rahul Gandhi, while campaigning in Telangana, was attacking K. Kavita and saying she's involved in the Delhi liquor scam, and today he talks about dictatorship. So it appears everyone in the Congress party is tonight having a memory hiccup. Nothing is going on. Everyone is using Arvind Kejriwal, who is right now under the grill, to barbecue their own political prospects. That is what is going on. And about Arvind Kejriwal, look, the arrest and the constitutionality of it will be decided by the court. Let's not forget he approached the Delhi High Court today. The Delhi High Court directed the ED to produce evidence, which they did around 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon today, after which the HC denied Arvind Kejriwal any respite. Let's be very clear about the facts. Let's also be very clear about the fact that Arvind Kejriwal ignored 9 summons from the ED. Let's not also forget that last year when Manish Sisodia was arrested around February this time, the Aam Aadmi Party, while approaching the Supreme Court, did not cite political vendetta or did not say their fundamental rights were being violated. Instead, they said that we are ready to cooperate with the investigation, just do not arrest Manish Sisodia. And let's also remember, Manish Sisodia has not been given a bail for a year because in October 23, the ED, before the Supreme Court, stated that they have tentatively established a money trail of rupees 338 crore. And that is when the Supreme Court directed them to wrap up the trial as soon as possible. So everyone crying political vendetta, the absence of a money trail, this being, the center government's some sort of masterstroke or something, they all are simply lying. The Congress trying to showcase some support there. It was the Congress, I would like to remind the Congress spokesperson here, that filed the very first complaint in the excise policy scam. What are they talking about tonight, really?
Absolutely. So that is the conundrum that, comes to the fore at the end of the day. As Tushar Gupta is pointing out, Rahul Gandhi attacks K. Kavita in Telangana when it comes to the Delhi excise policy scam. Top Congress leaders in the national capital are attacking the Aam Aadmi Party when it comes to the Liquorgate scandal. Now everyone is in this strange sense of solidarity with Arvind Kejriwal, now taken into ED custody. So the conundrums galore situation is taking place in the India alliance. Let's get to our other guests as well, as the Congress party and the other alliance partners in the India bloc are coming and rallying behind Arvind Kejriwal. Syed Asad Abbas, a political analyst, is also joining us on the broadcast. Sir, how do you see these developments coming in? Do you see this move coming in from the Enforcement Directorate after the Delhi High Court refused to grant Arvind Kejriwal protection from arrest? Do you see this truly as political vendetta or something that is being done by the book?
Well, Ayushman Saab, let me get straight to the point. I've always believed if there's great power, there's great responsibility and equal accountability. Also, we need to understand many a times, throughout the day, I've debated with BJP spokespersons or their favoring partners about the 9 summons. They need to understand that Arvind Kejriwal ji is not just a chief minister, but he's heading 2 states, 2 parties, and coming along with it. He's also national convener of India's largest and fastest growing political startup. Also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand that this is nothing but political vendetta, and more vendetta. And I will tell you why. Respected Ayushman Saab, we also need to understand when we speak of conundrums galore, sir, let me bring to your notice, Modi ji once called NCP as a nationally corrupt party. But today the same Ajit Pawar, जिन्होंने चक्की piecing बोला था Devendra Fadnavis, the same Ajit Pawar faction is leading the front in Maharashtra along with the Bharatiya Janata Party. So is that okay with them? Why the dohre maapdand? Not just him, sir. Many of the leaders of the Uddhav Thackeray have moved to the Eknath Shinde camp. As a matter of fact, today I ask you, as a citizen of this country,
Mr. Abbas, I'll let you finish. The only difference is that once these guys come together in the NDA alliance, they don't speak against each other. The problem with the India alliance is that even in alliance, they're all attacking each other. That's just one difference I wanted to point out.
Go ahead. Ayushman sir. That's a very good point. I, as a matter of fact, agree with you on that, sir. But the fact is, ये तो भ्रष्ट है. Why दोहरा मापदंड, as I ask? Why double standard, sir? Could we please, Tushar Gupta or Mr. Dixit, who's supporting the BJP or this move by the ID, could they please enlighten me? What about the ED cases on Ajit Pawar, Suvendu Adhikari, Eknath Shinde camp, Himanta Biswa Sarma? No. All you need to do is, पहले के ज़माने में मैं जब छोटा बच्चा था, washing powder निर्मा था. अभी कोई भी brush नहीं था. All they have to do is join the hands of the BJP and washing machine Bhajpa. You'll be clear. Your ED cases will be silent. No update. They will be put in the cold freezers of the party. The fact is, this is truth. Why double standards? Also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand, Ayushman Saab, like you raised a very specific and important point. Let me bring to your notice. Very important point now. Sharat Chandra Reddy is a part of...
Right, Mr. Abbas, before I'll let you finish that point, I want to get another update from my colleague Arunima, who's reporting outside the ED office. Arunima, over to you. Arvind Kejriwal, is he now in the ED office with the ED officials? Has he crossed the barricade and now completely in ED custody? Arunima, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ayushman, can you repeat that? There's too much chaos here and jammers.
Right, of course, I can understand there's a lot of chaos on the ground outside the ED office. Arvind Kejriwal, we're getting those visuals of him in ED custody, finally arriving at the ED office. What's the latest on the ground?
If I understood you correctly, I think you're asking me about finally Arvind Kejriwal landing in ED's custody. Yes, and ED would want further custodial interrogation. So when he's produced at the Rouse Avenue court, ED I think will press for at least 10 days, if not more, off custody. Depends on the judge if that much is granted. Now, what exactly is the ED's reason for wanting custodial interrogation? Why did ED wait till this moment? So in November, the first set of summons went. ED told the Supreme Court during Manish Sisodia's bail hearing that they have decided to make Aam Aadmi Party a beneficiary of the proceeds of the crime. So there was a lot of speculation if these latest rounds of summons were going to Kejriwal because he's the national convener of the party. But today at the Delhi High Court hearing, ED finally clarified that Arvind Kejriwal was being summoned in his individual capacity and not as the national convener of AAP. The reason ED moved to arrest him today is because after K. Kavita's questioning, after K. Kavita's arrest, they got fresh evidence. They had earlier also mentioned in column B of their charge sheet that there was a FaceTime conversation between Vijay Nair, who was standing with Samir Mahindru, one of the businessmen from South Group, with Arvind Kejriwal. So Vijay Nair was conversing with Arvind Kejriwal over FaceTime, and Kejriwal reportedly told Mahindru that Nair is my boy. Now Nair himself has been charge sheeted He has been accused of carrying out this entire conspiracy. ED wants to ask Kejriwal, why did he call Nair my boy? Why did he tell or assure Sameer Mahindra that whatever Nair was doing, he had the blessings of Arvind Kejriwal? Second, the YSRCP MP, he has told the Enforcement Directorate that in March 2021 there was a meeting that he had with Kejriwal where this entire excise policy came up for discussion, and at that point Kejriwal reportedly told the YSRCP MP Mr. Reddy that he was already in touch with K. Kavita. Now others in this case have reportedly confessed to the ED that Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia and Kavita had come to this agreement that 100 crore would be paid as bribe that will be used by Aam Aadmi Party for its election campaigning, and that money would be fronted by the South Group businessmen, some of whom have confessed, like Dinesh Arora for example. All this evidence inside the ED headquarters. Now Arvind Kejriwal, if not tonight, then over the next 1 week at least, he will be confronted with each one of these players and what they have told, and possibly there will be an across the table confrontation between K. Kavita and Arvind Kejriwal as well. For now, however, ED would ensure that the medical examination happens. They do not want to get into a situation where Kejriwal goes to court tomorrow and alleges that he has been tortured, he has been denied sleep, and because this is a political conspiracy. That line Aam Aadmi Party is already taking. ED does not want to give Kejriwal any chance to further that, because Lok Sabha elections are around the corner. If every issue is bound to be a political issue.
Absolutely. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out legally now that Arvind Kejriwal is in ED custody. But the clarion call has come in from the Aam Aadmi Party. Now the Aam Aadmi Party has said that protests will take place in the national capital and across the country. And I would request our guests to stay with us because we will continue this discussion right after a quick break, just a 2-minute break, and we'll continue this discussion. Please don't go anywhere.
Whenever I had
posturing and the political sloganeering that you're seeing outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence, given this kind of an environment outside, how easy or difficult would it be for the ED officials and the other security personnel, Delhi police and other security personnel who are present there, to take him from his residence to the ED office, presumably?
Well, it's going to be a very uphill task for the Delhi police to actually manage the law and order situation. You can see in the visuals behind me, these are all the protesters that are still gathering over here. A few of them have gone to the other gate because they suspect that the chief minister could be taken out from the other end of the road, and hence they are making sure that from wherever he could be taken out, they could actually try and stop them from taking him to the Enforcement Directorate office. On the other hand, if I could show you the traffic situation as well, this would give the viewers an exact sense as to how difficult is it going to be for the Delhi police and the Enforcement Directorate and the CRPF who has been deployed on the ground to take the Delhi Chief Minister to the Enforcement Directorate. There is a massive traffic snarl that has already happened out here, and the traffic is absolutely at a standstill at this point in time. On the other hand, the sources within the Enforcement Directorate are telling us that Arvind Kejriwal was constantly being evasive of the questions that were being asked to him, and the Enforcement Directorate investigating officer is not satisfied with the manner in which the Delhi Chief Minister is answering, and hence he has decided that a custodial interrogation could be the best way to make sure that Arvind Kejriwal answers the questions in this entire matter. So yes, it remains to be seen when will the Delhi Chief Minister be taken out, but he has been arrested. The Delhi police is trying to clear the roads, trying to make a green corridor so that the Chief Minister could be taken to the Enforcement Directorate office with utmost safety. But yes, it is going to be a very, very long haul and an uphill task for the
we'll
Delhi
come back
Chief
to our
Minister.
reporters, to Anshul, Ananya, Arunima, as soon as we see the first pictures of Mr. Kejriwal being brought out. Let me open this up to our guests who are joining us. This is a breaking...
And we're coming back to the mega twister in the Liquorgate scandal, ladies and gentlemen. Arvind Kejriwal is now in ED custody. He is at the ED office in the national capital. And this has shaken up the politics across the country on the road to the Lok Sabha elections, where the entire India Alliance, the entire opposition bloc, has come together and rallied around Arvind Kejriwal to take on the Modi government. My guests continue to be with us. Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress; Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst; Ashish Dikshit, lawyer; Tushar Gupta, senior journalist. Mr. Abbas, please continue what you were saying. You were about to finish that point. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Ayushman Saab. 1 minute and I shall continue with that. Very importantly, one aspect is something which we need to look at. Respected sir, let me bring this to your notice. As per the ED questioning and as per ED press release, there is one person called Sharad Chandra Reddy who's been named in the statement by the Enforcement Directorate as one of the very important members of the Southern Lobby, as per them, the Liquorgate. The same person has over 5 crore electoral bonds which have been encashed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. So therefore, when we have a Southern Lobby criminal here, alleged criminal, proceeds of crime going to the Bharatiya Janata Party, now tell me, let's raise this question with the BJP supporters. Isn't BJP then a part of this crime?
Are you saying that money trail is directly to the BJP? Do you have that information that we don't?
Yes, I will tell you. Ayushman Saab, Sharad Chandra Reddy was a person from the Southern Lobby, apparently an accomplice of Shri K. Kavita ji, who was arrested by the ED. The same person is found to have 5 crore worth electoral bonds, which have been encashed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. So isn't BJP complicit of Sharad Chandra Reddy's crimes?
No, I'm just trying to understand where have you got this information that those particular 5 crore bonds have been encashed by the BJP? Because let's face it, the BRS is also one of the recipients. How can you make this direct link between those who have purchased electoral bonds and the political party? We haven't got that information yet so far.
Public domain. Yes, Ayushman Saab, right question from you. It's all in the public domain. Sharad Chandra Reddy is one of the southern alleged criminals, part of this Liquorgate scam. Crime.
That's fine.
And when he's questioned by ED.
No, I'm saying that I don't understand how you're able to draw that direct line between him and the BJP. For all you know, he gave that money to the Congress, he gave it to the TMC, he gave it to the BRS. We don't know the direct trail between those people who've been named in this list and which people they've given that money to. But Ashish Dixit, but I'm sorry, but I'll come back to you. Ashish Dixit has been waiting for a long time. Mr. Dixit, thank you for sharing your perspective and being so patient with me when it comes to this explosive situation in national politics today. My colleagues have been pointing out this throughout the discussions today, that whenever Arvind Kejriwal skipped a summon, he skipped 9 summons from the Enforcement Directorate. Every time he did that, he dug his own grave a little more deeper. Please elaborate that for us.
See, firstly, I would tell you that for the remaining of night, there will be no legal issue arising anymore. It is all going to be political because Supreme Court has refused to entertain this urgent request by the Kejriwal and his team. Now, you are saying that whether refusal of summons has resulted and has caused further problems to Mr. Kejriwal, any lawyer will advise you, yes. Once there is a summon against you, and that too summon under PMLA, which is by itself an offense under the Act, you should cooperate with investigation. And this non-compliance and non-cooperation with investigation would be the prime tool with the Enforcement Directorate to oppose any request for bail or any request for non-award of ED custody. And as far as the merits of the case are concerned, whatever there is in public domain and by way of the judgments of the Supreme Court in case of Manish Sisodia and other accused, the ED has been able to make out a prima facie case which has enabled the courts not to give or grant the bail. So it's a very difficult situation as of now for Mr. Kejriwal to be out on bail on a very sooner date or at a reasonable time. We have seen that the test under the PMLA is very difficult. It's a twin condition case. The court has to come to a conclusion that prima facie they are satisfied that no offense has been done by this particular accused. So in the case of other accused who are already languishing in jail for last 1 year and more than that, the courts have not been able to come to that conclusion. So for Mr. Kejriwal, it is all fair to say politically this will be used, but legally it's a very difficult case. The ED has been investigating. There is a money trail which has also been quoted by the judgment of Justice Khanna. So as a lawyer, I would say that yes, it's a difficult thing, but PMLA, as we all know, is something which has to be in my personal view as a lawyer, it's a very stringent law. It needs some relook. Vijay Mandal's judgment is there, because what happens, it is everything against the accused. You have to prove everything. So in a democracy, it becomes very difficult when everything is so much in the favor of the investigating agency. The defense has no right. It's very difficult for them to even contest
Absolutely,
something.
but the Supreme Court has also upheld those provisions, those very stringent
But that
provisions.
is pending consideration. That is pending consideration.
So that is also pending consideration. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Mahima Singh, I'll come back to you. I have a very limited time on the debate left, but as a lawyer, I just wanted to ask you: would you have given Arvind Kejriwal this advice to skip the ED summons 9 times, knowing the provisions of the PMLA? Because at the end of the day, this is someone creating a problem for himself.
I wish I was representing my profession on your show, but I'm representing my party. I'm representing the political discourse in this country, which is totally distorted because of the BJP. I want to ask you and the viewers today, is it right for the ED to forego all the cases against the BJP leaders or all those who join hands with the BJP and act in haste against those that raise voices of dissent today that are much needed to save our democracy?
Once again, this is all
I'll leave you with that question.
This is all conjecture that those cases have been closed. At the end of the day,
you tell me, Ayushman,
you still have not.
You tell me, do you
ma'am, I'll ask you,
of this way of functioning of the ED?
Ma'am,
as a citizen, you tell me.
Ma'am, as a lawyer, as someone who appreciates the law, is this legal or illegal? Simple question.
As an Indian citizen, you tell me.
Right. I don't think we'll get anywhere. I don't think we'll get anywhere with that. And we're out of time because we don't have any straight answers coming in from the India Alliance. It's a cacophony of conundrums, if you will. But that's all the time we have. I want to thank Mahima Singh, Tushar Gupta, Syed Asad Abbas, as well as Ashish Dikshit for sharing their perspective as the twists and turns continue in the Liquorgate scandal and politics is only heating up on the road to 2024.
A huge one which has political ramifications and legal ramifications as well. Abab Singh Grewal is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. RP Singh, spokesperson of the BJP. Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist, joining us. Sumit Chandar is a lawyer and constitutional expert. Ashutosh Srivastava, also lawyer. Piyush Joshi, political analyst, also joining us. Let me start with you, Mr. Grewal, if you're there. The Delhi Chief Minister has been arrested. The ED says he avoided summons, he skipped the summons as many as 9 times, including the latest one today. He went to the Delhi High Court, which refused to give him any kind of interim protection, and therefore the ED had no choice but to arrest him. If he had nothing to hide, Mr. Kejriwal should have shown up to their office in any of these summons and answered their questions.
You can see in the visuals there is movement that has started happening over here outside the residence of the Delhi Chief Minister. You can see in the visuals there is movement that has started happening over here outside the residence of the Delhi Chief Minister. Several vehicles of the Delhi police is already moving towards the exit. So in all likelihood, we are expecting that this is the cavalcade in which the Delhi Chief Minister would be taken away. The gates are wide open now. 4 to 5 vehicles of the Delhi police. So the Delhi Chief Minister is being taken out. The visual that you are seeing on your screens right now, the Chief Minister is finally being taken out. The first vehicle is of the police pilot vehicle that has been taken away. The second vehicle is of the ED officials, and now one by one, the entire cavalcade has moved out. The Chief Minister has been taken away from state towards the enforcement.
हम इस देश के संविधान की लड़ाई